Chapter 2439. Who is this person? On one of the platforms of the Void Warship, there was a lady in a gorgeous golden dress. This lady exuded a noble aura from head to toe. She didn't have any overly eye-catching accessories on her, but she exuded a natural noble aura. Beside the young lady was an old man. The old man was holding a large, unadorned book in his hand and wearing a wide, white robe with large sleeves. If Tang Ao used the sky pole eye to look over, he would immediately discover that this old man's cultivation was even stronger than Song Yu's. However, the old man had no intention of making a move until now. This was because the old man only had one mission on the Void Warship, and that was to protect the young lady before him. The old man didn't care about the life and death of others at all. After the young lady asked, the white-robed old man's sharp gaze landed on Tang Ao. This gaze seemed to be able to see through Tang Ao. Tang Ao, who was locked in a stalemate with the lava monster in the distance, suddenly shuddered. At this moment, Tang Ao sensed that a strange, powerful aura seemed to penetrate him. A top-notch expert is spying on me. Tang Ao quickly understood what was going on. Immediately, Tang Ao used the sky pole eye to look over at the battlefield. In Tang Ao's opinion, he must have caused too much of a commotion here. Song Yu and the other two, or the four powerful beasts in the beast tide, must have noticed him. However, what surprised Tang Ao was that Song Yu and the other two were still locked in combat with the four chaotic sky realm beasts. Although there were only 3 people on Song Yu's side, the 3 of them seemed to have a close relationship. They had actually cultivated a joint attack secret technique. The 3 Muddy Heaven stage powerhouses were able to fight the 4 Muddy Heaven stage monster beasts to a standstill when using this secret technique together. However, this made Tang Ao even more puzzled. Apart from Song Yu and the other 2, as well as the 4 powerful beasts, where else could there be such experts in the vicinity? For the first time, Tang Ao realized that when his 9 Dragons Emperor Jade body was being spied on, he could not sense it. Tang Ao knew that this was not because the 9 Dragons Emperor's Jade body's senses were weak. It was because the other party also had an impressive secret technique. Moreover, the difference in cultivation level between Tang Ao and the other party was too great. On the high platform under the protection of the formation in the distance, the old man's eyes flashed with a hint of surprise, but he quickly withdrew his gaze. What was more mysterious was that in this old man's eyes, there were actually 2 spirit designs that were slowly dissipating. After retracting his gaze, Yin Xiu opened the book in his hand. Immediately, golden characters leaped out from the book. These characters did not belong to the common characters of the true martial realm, nor were they unique to any martial artist. Only a few people in the true martial world could understand these ancient characters. However, Yin Xiu and the young girl were not among them. Tang Ao, a martial artist from the lower plane of the Black-Yellow continent. Grade 4 Array Master, Grade 3 Alchemy Master, Grade 3 Artifact Master. Elite of the Chamber of Immortal Ruins Hidden Dragon List. Although the golden characters that leaped out of the ancient book only formed this sentence, Tang Ao would definitely be extremely shocked if he saw it. This sentence had already exposed most of Tang Ao's secrets. Chapter 2440. In the hall on the 8th level of the Tower of the Immortal Ruins, Shen Yunqing blinked her beautiful eyes. Just now, she sensed a mysterious aura sweeping through the Tower of the Immortal Ruins. This aura was not unfamiliar to Shen Yunqing. It was the God Race's Heaven Extended Technique. The Heaven Extended Technique was a powerful technique unique to the God Race. Only the God Race could use the Heaven Extended Technique. The Heaven Extended method could deduce everything that had happened in the past and see the possible direction of the future. It was an extremely powerful technique. However, the power of the Heaven Extended technique depended on the martial artist who used it. Because the Tower of the Immortal Ruin was protected by a formation, It wouldn't affect the Tower of the Immortal Ruin at all if it was an expert below the Chaotic Heaven stage or even an ordinary Chaotic Heaven stage. I wonder which old monster from the Celestial Clan is coveting the treasures of the Tower of the Immortal Ruin again. Xin Yunqing took a sip of the spiritual brew and did not pay much attention to it. The treasures of the Tower of the Immortal Ruins were stored in a special way. Even if the High Priest of the God race personally used the Heaven Extended technique, he might not be able to see it. As for the other things in the Tower of the Ruins of Immortality, or the things that the Chamber of the Ruins of Immortality wanted others to know, it did not matter even if they saw them. The Immortal Ruins Chamber of Commerce is indeed powerful. In just 10,000 years, a Chamber of Commerce that rose recently was able to stand on equal footing with the Heavenly Star Chamber of Commerce and the Black Screen Chamber of Commerce. Now that the Heavenly Tao smelting trial is approaching, I actually found a cultivator with such great potential. Luoya looked at the golden runes that appeared on the ancient book, and then looked at Tang Ao as she muttered to herself. The Heavenly Path Secret Land is the key to achieving the Divine King Realm and Tao Master Realm. Over the years, it had been controlled by 108 top powers, and 1,000 people were chosen to enter the Heaven's Path Mystic Realm. For countless years, it's always been our God Clan, the Earth Demon Realm's Demon Clan, and the Heavenly Martial Arts Realm's Martial Artists who occupy the top 3 positions. Even though this time the Immortal Ruins Chamber of Commerce found a good seedling, you don't need to pay too much attention to him. After Yin Xiu finished speaking, Luoya also nodded. Luoya said softly, "Elder Yin Xiu, why don't you help them?" "Princess Luoya, my mission on the Void Warship is to protect you. I don't care about anything else." Yin Xiu glanced at the battlefield where Song Yu and the other 2 were. He had no intention of interfering. Otherwise, with his cultivation at the 7th level of the Chaotic Heaven stage, those 3rd and 4th level Chaotic Heaven stage demonic beasts were nothing in his eyes. Hearing Yin Xiu's words, Luoya did not insist. This was because Luoya knew that if Yin Xiu wasn't willing to help, it would be useless no matter what she said. Moreover, Luoya did have a celestial race treasure that she needed to bring back. She couldn't afford to make any mistakes along the way. Otherwise, even if she was the princess of the God race, she would still be punished. Not far away on the deck, Tang Ao felt that the sole remembrance that had been spying on him had disappeared for a long time without any movement. Tang Ao's gaze once again turned to the group of lava monsters. There were quite a number of lava monsters in the Star Beast Tide. Tang Ao estimated that if this continued, it wouldn't be long before his scarlet gold sword could be upgraded to a grade 7 celestial artifact. Every time Tang Ao killed a lava monster with the scarlet gold sword would instantly absorb the flame essence within the lava monster's body. The absorbed flame essence could slowly refine the impurities in the scarlet gold sword. A part of the flame essence even fused with the scarlet gold sword, making it stronger. Chapter 2441. Now that these lava monsters were charging at him in groups, it was the best time for the scarlet gold sword to level up. However, there were too many warriors here, so Tang Ao didn't dare to take out his other scarlet gold immortal weapons. Otherwise, Tang Ao could level up quite a few scarlet gold immortal weapons with so many lava monsters around. However, because he had attracted the attention of the powerhouses earlier, Tang Ao wasn't as unscrupulous as before. When the surrounding warriors saw that Tang Ao's movements gradually slowed down after killing for a while, they were even more certain of their previous thoughts. Tang Ao was a bloodthirsty and cruel warrior. He had been repressed for too long on the Void Warship, and now that he was venting, he was so crazy. Even now, Tang Ao had killed countless lava monsters, but he still hadn't had enough. When everyone saw Tang Ao's gaze, they all avoided him. No one was willing to provoke such a ruthless person. Tang Ao looked around and couldn't help but feel a little strange. At the same time, Tang Ao sighed inwardly. He was indeed a little too ostentatious. However, this opportunity to level up the scarlet gold sword was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. He didn't know what had happened this time, but there was a void beast tide. According to Tang Ao's understanding, these void beasts usually had their own territories and areas of activity. If there was nothing important, they would never leave their territory like this. Things like chasing void warships like this were even rarer. Therefore, Tang Ao didn't want to miss this opportunity. After thinking for a moment, Tang Ao decided to go deep into the lava monsters to kill them. Tang Ao had been observing for a long time, so he was sure that it was as Song Yu had said. These demon beasts definitely wouldn't be able to break through the heavenly star defense array within 10 days. Therefore, Su Shiro was very safe on the void warship. Thinking of this, Tang Ao directly killed a path and then directly killed his way into the depths of the lava monsters. There weren't many warriors fighting the lava monsters here, but there were still some. When they saw Tang Ao's actions, everyone was stunned. However, Tang Ao completely ignored everyone's gazes. He secretly calculated in his heart and gradually disappeared in front of everyone's eyes. Every time a space sea beast tide appeared, it was both a disaster and an opportunity. The so-called Starry Sea beast tide did not refer to the powerful demonic beasts within the Starry Sea, but the demonic beasts around the Starry Sea. Due to the change in the Starry Sea's aura, the demonic beasts around the Starry Sea went berserk and destroyed everything. These beasts would attack the void battleships passing by, and they would also kill each other. However, even though these demon beasts were wreaking havoc, they were only wreaking havoc within a certain range. Adding on the fact that there were chaotic heaven stage demon beasts among these demon beasts, there hadn't been any peak experts to clean up the beast tide. In this beast tide, many people had a bountiful harvest. This was especially true for those cultivators who managed to kill a void demonic wolf. Their hearts were blooming with joy. The materials from a void demonic wolf could be sold for millions to tens of millions of low-grade immortal crystals. If it wasn't for the astral sea beast tide, ordinary cultivators wouldn't even be able to find void demonic wolves, let alone hunt them. This was because the nests of void demon wolves were usually located in alternate spacetime planes. Chapter 2442. At this moment, Tang Ao had already arrived at the depths of the beast wave. Because he had already used his sky polar eyes to scan this place, Tang Ao knew that this place was not a threat. Just like the front of the beast wave, there were also endless lava monsters roaring continuously. However, after Tang Ao arrived, these roaring lava monsters actually revealed a fearful expression, as if they had sensed something horrifying. These lava monsters were indeed afraid, because after Tang Ao arrived, the fire essence in their bodies seemed to want to rush out of their bodies uncontrollably. Lava monsters were a type of monster born in the lava of volcanoes. They were solid lava on the outside, scalding lava inside, and a strand of fire essence at the core. Once the fire essence was extracted, they would immediately die and explode. If it were a lava monster exploding because of the fire essence, the explosion would be extremely horrifying. However, once the fire essence was extracted, the explosion would not even be able to blow up an astral-reaching realm warrior's clothes. After arriving here, Tang Ao did not make his move immediately. Instead, he waited where he was for a while. After making sure that there were no martial artists following him and that there were no powerful warriors spying on him, Tang Ao took out the other 2 scarlet gold swords from his storage ring. Tang Ao had successfully made 6 scarlet gold immortal weapons in total. He had won 3 in the Immortal Ruins auction, and they were all very ordinary, which could be considered as failures. However, the 3 scarlet gold swords in Tang Ao's hands were the real treasures. Each scarlet gold sword was a rank 4 immortal weapon, and had been forged 5 times using the god forging art. At this moment, under Tang Ao's powerful control, the 3 scarlet gold swords were killing the lava monsters around him. Every time a lava monster was killed, the fire essence in its body would be completely absorbed by the scarlet gold sword. After the scarlet gold sword absorbed the fire essence of the lava monsters, the impurities that were hard to remove would be forced out bit by bit. Previously, Tang Ao had come to the lava monsters purely to raise the grade of the crimson gold sword. Now, Tang Ao was secretly observing the lava monsters while killing them. What was the reason for this? With Tang Ao's sky-polar eyes, Tang Ao could see all these changes clearly. The moment the crimson gold sword killed the lava monster, the crystal inside its body would shatter. These crystals contained the concentrated essence of flames. This flame essence was, in fact, extremely condensed fire-attributed immortal spiritual energy. Moreover, after it was condensed, it gave birth to life. After observing for a long time, Tang Ao discovered that the pure gold sand in the pure gold sword could perfectly fuse with the concentrated flame essence, but the pure gold powder was repelled. In this way, using this concentrated flame essence could achieve the effect of tempering the scarlet gold sword. However, this kind of flame essence was not easy to preserve. In some volcanic areas, it was not hard to find this kind of flame essence. But if the flame essence did not form the crystal core of the lava monster, it would be very unstable. With just a slight touch, it would immediately disintegrate and dissipate. What Tang Ao was thinking now was whether he could use his nether flame to refine the flame essence, and then use the jade bone vitality life soul to inject vitality. If this method worked, Tang Ao would immediately be able to overcome the 60% purification of the pure gold sand. Chapter 2443. However, as time passed, everyone discovered that Tang Ao was only extremely fierce when facing the beast tide. After returning to the deck of the Void battleship, he was very quiet, not as frightening as they had imagined. Therefore, when everyone returned to the deck to recover, they would chat with Tang Ao for a bit. In the world of martial arts, the strong were respected. Although Tang Ao only had a 3rd-level astral-reaching cultivation base, Tang Ao's strength had obtained the approval of the majority. After all, up until now, on the side of the lava monsters, the only martial artist who dared to go deep into the lava monsters to kill them was Tang Ao. This was mainly because the other powerful martial artists were hunting other demonic beasts of higher value. For a worthless demonic beast like the lava monsters, if it were not to prevent them from attacking the Heavenly Star Defense Array and exploding, no one would be willing to deal with this kind of demonic beast. Senior brother Tang Ao, there are still 3 days before we leave here. Why do you keep killing lava monsters? Actually, the space beast tide is also an opportunity. For example, the Void Demon Wolf and the Black Crystal Beast are both very valuable demonic beasts. Senior brother Tang Ao, you are so powerful. If you go and kill these demonic beasts, you will definitely have a great harvest. The one talking to Tang Ao was Su Qing. At this moment, Su Qing was looking at Tang Ao with a gaze full of worship. After seeing Tang Ao's valiant battle strength, Su Qing felt that being by Tang Ao's side was very safe. These days, under Su Qing's request, Tang Ao had brought Su Qing into the depths of the lava monsters. Under Tang Ao's protection, Su Qing could also kill a lot of lava monsters, which gave Su Qing a sense of accomplishment, feeling that she had also played a role. There are many martial artists dealing with the Void Demon Wolf and the Black Crystal Beast, so I won't go. On the contrary, there are fewer martial artists here, so I will be the most useful here. When Tang Ao spoke, there were many cultivators resting in the surroundings. When they heard Tang Ao's words, everyone felt deep respect in their hearts. With Tang Ao's strength to crush the lava monster, even if he went to hunt the Void Demonic Wolf and the Black Crystal Beast, it would still be a crushing situation. However, Tang Ao did not hunt the Void Demon Wolf, nor did he hunt the Black Crystal Beast. These days, Tang Ao has been fighting the lava monsters on the front line. However, how could they know that although Tang Ao didn't hunt the void demonic wolves and black crystal beasts, Tang Ao's harvest was far greater than those martial artists who hunted the void demonic wolves and black crystal beasts. Now, Tang Ao's 3 scarlet gold swords had all been upgraded to the level of a grade 5 immortal sword. A 5th grade immortal weapon that had been refined 5 times could be considered a good treasure in the entire true martial realm. Moreover, Tang Ao did not only have 1 scarlet gold sword, but 3. Tang Ao adjusted his breathing and prepared to charge into the lava monsters again. However, the moment Tang Ao got up, a huge golden halo rolled out from the deck of the Sky Dragon Starry Sky battleship in all directions. This golden halo carried a group of suffocating and terrifying fluctuations. The martial artists who felt this halo moved in advance, and some martial artists who could not avoid it were suddenly pushed away by the halo. Then the halo continued to spread, and soon, with the 3 void battleships as the center, it spread to the entire battlefield. Immediately, everyone was shocked to see that under the advancement of this golden halo, countless demon beasts that came into contact with the halo were instantly turned into ashes. Then, this halo did not reduce its momentum, sweeping across the entire battlefield. Chapter 2444. Even the 4 chaotic heaven stage demon beasts that were fighting Song Yu and the other 2 were affected by the halo and escaped with serious injuries. Looking at the empty surroundings, Song Yu and the other 2 exchanged glances. After a long time, an old man with white hair beside Song Yu muttered, "Is this the means of the God race? God clan?" The other black-clothed middle-aged man clenched his fists, feeling helpless. Despite both being Chaos Heaven Realm cultivators, there was actually such a huge gap between the human race and the divine race. "Sai, let's go. We've been delayed for a few days on the road. Now, we have to hurry to the desolate martial realm." Song Yu also smiled bitterly. The Heavenly Star Chamber of Commerce also had 7th-level Turbid Heaven stage martial artists. However, Song Yu knew that even the 7th-level Turbid Heaven stage old ancestor of the Heavenly Star Chamber of Commerce wouldn't be able to kill most of the Beast Tide in a single strike like Yin Xiu had. Song Yu understood that Yin Xiu had made a move this time for the sake of ending the battle as soon as possible, and also for the sake of establishing his might. Ordinary martial artists were very unfamiliar with the deity race, or it could be said that they simply did not have the qualifications to know about the deity race. But those martialists who knew about the divine race all understood that the word divine race was synonymous with power. On a high platform on the Sky Dragon, Yin Xiu slowly closed the huge book in his hands. The celestial spiritual energy in his body also fluctuated slightly. Although that kind of method just now had shocked the eyes of many martial artists, but such a powerful magical technique also consumed a lot of Yin Xiu's energy. However, Yin Xiu had achieved his goals. Firstly, he had dealt with the Beast Tide, and secondly, he had established the might of the divine race. On the Void Warship, most of the martial artists did not know that there were deity race martial artists on the warship. However, there was still a small number of people who knew that the God Race's 9th Elder Yin Xiu and the God Race's Princess Luo Yu were on the battleship. At this moment, while these people were extremely shocked, they also took out their sound transmission jade slips and started to send messages to the forces they were in. "The one who helped us just now was a senior of the God Race. Now that the Beast Tide has been dealt with, everyone should immediately return to your void battleships. After the time it takes for a stick of incense to burn, we will continue our journey according to the predetermined route. It is estimated that in another 10 days, we will be able to reach the desolate martial realm." As the surrounding demonic beasts continued to retreat, Song Yu's voice also spread throughout the surroundings. "God race? What race is this?" On the way back to Sky Dragon with Su Qing, Tang Ao recalled the scene just now and asked curiously. Hearing Tang Ao's question, Su Qing's eyes dimmed a little. Su Qing didn't respect the God clan like ordinary people did. On the contrary, Su Qing even hated the God clan, because Su Qing herself was half a god. Su Qing's mother was a princess of the divine race, while Su Qing's father was a powerful human race martial artist. During a trial in a mystic realm, the two of them came together. After that, there was the crystallization of love, Su Qing. Originally, Su Qing's family of 3 was living a very happy life. But when the Divine Race's law enforcement hall arrived, they took her mother away. Her father fled with her, but the Divine Race's law enforcement hall still pursued them. Later, her father hid her in an immortal ruin and led the God Race's law enforcement hall's martial artists away. The God Race believed themselves to be a cut above the rest and did not allow their bloodline to flow out. Therefore, Su Qing was an existence that the God Race had to eliminate. Apprentice Brother Tang Ao, do you also worship the Divine Race? Su Qing asked Tang Ao with some disappointment. Chapter 2445. This was because the techniques of the Protoss powerhouses could completely resolve the Beast Tide. Then, at the beginning of the Beast Tide, the Protoss powerhouses could completely disperse the Beast Tide. This way, everyone would not have to wait here for so long. Therefore, the attack of the Protoss powerhouses just now was mainly to establish their might. Song Yu also knew what the Protoss was thinking, so he simply said that the Beast Tide this time was resolved by the Protoss powerhouses. After Tang Ao returned to his cultivation room, Su Shiro was still unconscious. Tang Ao's psyche probed Su Shiro's body and saw that the poison in Su Shiro's body was still being suppressed by the medicinal power of the Qingyuan elixir. At the same time, Tang Ao was secretly glad that in addition to the 3 Qingyuan elixirs in Lu Muxing's hands, Tang Ao had also obtained 3 Qingyuan elixirs from Lu Qinghe. Otherwise, if something like this happened on the way, Tang Ao would not have been able to do anything. According to Song Yu, everyone would reach the desolate martial domain in another 10 days. Now, Tang Ao still had 3 Qingyuan elixirs on him. As long as there were no major changes along the way, it was more than enough to last until the desolate martial domain. Moreover, Lu Muxing had already arranged everything. After Tang Ao arrived at the desolate martial domain, there would immediately be warriors to receive him. In the next few days, everything was very calm. Tang Ao also continued to cultivate in the cultivation room. On the 10th day, although they had yet to reach the desolate martial domain, Tang Ao could already feel that the Void Warship had begun to slow down. Every time the Void Warship stopped, it would begin to slow down in advance. Since the Void Warship had begun to slow down, it meant that it would not be long before they reached the desolate martial domain. The desolate martial domain was a heaven-like existence for warriors from low-level continent. Because the top powerhouses of the turbid heaven realm could not enter here, and because there were too few cultivation resources, some large factions and cultivation families would not be interested in this place. Therefore, the entire desolate martial domain was in chaos. Because there was no one to manage it, even some of the most vicious and evil people from other martial domains would escape to the desolate martial domain. Half a day later, the Void Warship stopped above a huge platform. After the warship stopped, the clear and melodious voice resounded throughout the entire Void Warship. The Void Warship has arrived at the desolate martial domain. Everyone, please leave quickly. Do not stay on the warship. 2 hours later, the warship will return to Martial Star Domain. After this voice came out, Tang Ao heard a burst of cheers. These cheers and whistles were coming from the mouths of the 4th and 5th layer warriors. The reason why these people came to the desolate martial domain was because the desolate martial domain was a lawless zone. This was the most suitable place for astral-reaching realm warriors to train. There were no cultivation families here, no realm lords, only darkness and evil. Just as Tang Ao was about to disembark from the Void battleship, Su Qing ran over from afar. After that, Su Qing handed a jade box to Tang Ao. Senior brother Tang Ao, there is a treasure inside. I don't need it, so I will give it to you. Thank you for taking care of me, and thank you for the elixir you gave me. Su Qing did not expect that the elixir Tang Ao had casually taken out was the star-breaking elixir for breaking through to astral-reaching realm. Chapter 2446. Su Qing thought about it again and again, but still decided to take out this special treasure. Because of the problem with her body, Su Qing could not use this treasure. Looking at the jade box handed over by Su Qing, Tang Ao casually smiled and put it away. After putting away the jade box, Tang Ao also took out a storage ring. Through this period of interaction, Tang Ao knew that Su Qing was a pure and kind girl. Tang Ao was quite fond of this little sister of his. This storage ring contained a huge amount of cultivation resources. Just the immortal crystals alone were piling up like a small hill. Although they were only low-rank immortal crystals, this amount of immortal crystals was already an astronomical figure for ordinary astral-reaching realm martial artists. Apart from the immortal crystals, there were also some cultivation techniques and medicinal pills. Of course, these were all ordinary goods. The most precious treasure was a magic staff. This was a pure gold magic staff. Although its color was not transparent, the pure gold in this magic staff had been refined to 70% purity by Tang Ao. This magic staff was also the pinnacle of Tang Ao's artifact crafting. A peak 4th grade immortal artifact refined 5 times. The immortal artifact that Su Qing used was a magic staff. Therefore, this magic staff was also specially refined by Tang Ao for her. Senior brother Tang Ao, that treasure is with you. You must take good care of it. You must not let others know that you have such a treasure on you. Su Qing was still worried and reminded him again. Tang Ao did not care about Su Qing's words. Because Tang Ao had too many good things on him, although Tang Ao was a bit curious about this treasure of Su Qing's, he did not take it to heart. However, seeing Su Qing's serious expression, Tang Ao's expression immediately turned serious, and he nodded heavily. Junior sister Su Qing, after I take care of things, I will go to the martial star realm to find you. Farewell for now. Through this period of interaction, Tang Ao knew that Su Qing was a martial artist of the martial star realm. However, what puzzled Tang Ao was that for some reason, Su Qing seemed to be particularly disgusted with the god race. After bidding farewell to Su Qing, Tang Ao carried Su Shiro off the void battleship. In front of Tang Ao was a boundless desert. The martial artists who came down from the void battleship immediately became fearful of each other. Most of them did not utter a word. After choosing a direction, they immediately fled, quickly disappearing from this place. Tang Ao did not leave. Tang Ao was waiting for the martial artists of the Immortal Ruins Chamber of Commerce to arrive. Logically, he should be able to see the martial artists of the Immortal Ruins Chamber of Commerce as soon as he arrived. However, what puzzled Tang Ao was that even though he saw a lot of martial artists waiting here, they did not seem to be here. However, these cultivators did not seem to be here to pick up people, because the way these cultivators looked at Tang Ao's group was like how a wolf would look at a lamb. However, at the moment, the void battleship was still there, so these wolves did not pounce on them. However, once a martial artist left this place, someone would immediately follow. Their purpose was self-evident. The desolate martial realm was a lawless place, where the law of the jungle was exerted to the fullest. As long as one was a powerful martial artist, they would be able to live on this land. Tang Ao had been in the Immortal Ruins all this time. This was Tang Ao's first time entering the true martial realm. Although the desolate martial realm ranked last among the 36 martial realms of the true martial realm, Tang Ao still felt that the immortal spirit chi in the desolate martial realm was more than 10 times richer than in the Immortal Ruins. In a place like this, it would be difficult for one's cultivation to not be high. Chapter 2447. Tang Ao glanced around. There were still about 30 or 40 people left, and there were 5 or 6 desolate martial realm martial artists with ferocious expressions in their eyes. After the Void battleship left, these people walked over with evil intentions. "Friends, what's the matter?" The one who asked was a young scholar. Seeing the desolate martial realm martial artists walking towards him, the young scholar's body immediately trembled, and his voice trembled. "Hee, there is indeed something. Hand over your storage rings and get lost." The one who spoke was a bewitching young man with slender eyes. This young man's whole body was emitting an evil aura, and the 5 people around him seemed to regard him as their leader. "And you guys, leave your storage rings behind as well. And that woman, you stay as well." Although there were only 6 people on the bewitching young man's side, these 6 people did not put Tang Ao and the others in their eyes at all. At this moment, the bewitching young man's gaze was wandering around a female martial artist. Presumptuous! Beside this female martial artist was a 6th-level astral-reaching realm man. The man carried a blood spear on his back. This man and the white-robed woman were obviously a couple. "Oh, Master Wolf will be presumptuous today." As the bewitching young man spoke, his aura suddenly changed. His 2 claws stretched out, and a pair of dark bone claws extended from the back of his hands. It looked very strange and evil. Moreover, the bewitching young man's figure flashed, and his speed was surprisingly fast. In an instant, he arrived behind the black-robed man. And at this moment, the black-robed man had just taken down the blood spear in his hand, and did not have the time to do anything. "Brother Wang, be careful." The white-robed woman saw this scene and immediately warned. At the same time, the long sword in her hand instantly stabbed towards the bewitching young man, wanting to force him to stop. Unfortunately, with a muffled sound, the black-robed man looked in front of him with a horrified expression. At this moment, a bone claw stretched out from his chest, and this bone claw was holding a bloody heart. This heart was naturally his. At this moment, a sharp pain instantly spread throughout his body. The black-robed man turned his head with difficulty, and after saying "run" to the white-robed woman, he immediately breathed his last. The surrounding people all gasped. Everyone had naturally experienced a lot of killing and experience up to this point in their cultivation. They could also tell that this purple-robed young man with narrow eyes was at the 5th level of the astral-reaching realm. However, Yi Chen, who was at the 5th level of the astral-reaching realm, managed to kill that 6th-level astral-reaching realm warrior within a second. "You killed Brother Wang, I want you to die!" The white-clothed woman screamed, and the long sword in her hand attacked the purple bone wolf ferociously. Purple bone wolf was the name of a type of demonic beast, but this purple-robed demonic youth also had such a name. At this moment, the purple-boned wolf looked at the seemingly delirious woman in front of it and licked its lips in satisfaction. The white-robed woman continuously attacked with her sword, but not a single sword managed to pierce the purple bone wolf's body. On the contrary, the purple bone wolf casually stretched out its claw and scratched the snow-white neck of the white-clothed lady, leaving a bloody wound. Then, the purple bone wolf licked the blood on its bone claw, and immediately looked at the white-clothed lady with shining eyes and said, "So delicious! Top quality! Top quality!" After saying this, the crowd still did not know what the purple bone wolf meant, but then they saw a scene that made their scalps go numb. At this moment, the purple bone wolf suddenly jumped up and its body suddenly appeared in front of the white-clothed lady. Then, without any hesitation, the purple bone wolf bit the white-clothed lady's neck. The white-clothed lady was shocked. She wanted to slap the purple bone wolf away. However, before she could even lift her arm, the white-clothed lady was shocked to find out that her strength had been sucked dry by the purple bone wolf. Seeing this scene, Tang Ao frowned. Although this purple-robed young man looked no different from a human, he was actually not a human. Instead, he was a member of the blood race which was very similar to humans. Chapter 2448. At this moment, a middle-aged blood kindred suddenly noticed Sushiro, who was on Tang Ao's back. After seeing Sushiro's snow-white neck, the middle-aged blood kindred licked his lips, revealing a pair of sharp teeth. His eyes immediately lit up as he walked towards Tang Ao. Seeing the blood kindred approaching, Tang Ao sneered in his heart. With a thought, he summoned the wind thunder dark cloud. Immediately, Tang Ao's figure spread out, and he instantly turned into a purple lightning bolt and flew into the distance. Through the battle between the purple bone wolf and the two warriors just now, Tang Ao knew that the desolate martial domain's reputation was well deserved. Because the desolate martial domain held the law of the jungle in high esteem, even if the warriors here did not have the best magic treasures or the best techniques, they still had the best combat power. There were a total of 7 blood kindred here, and their cultivation level was higher than Tang Ao's. If the 7 of them besieged Tang Ao, it would still be a little difficult for Tang Ao. After riding the wind thunder dark cloud for a distance, Tang Ao carefully sent Sushiro into the chaotic 6 light mirror. He ran away just now not because he was afraid of the blood kindred warrior chasing behind him, but because he did not want to be besieged by these blood kindred. Since this guy was determined to chase after him now, he could not blame Tang Ao for being impolite. After seeing Tang Ao suddenly stop, the scarlet-eyed blood kindred warrior asked, "Bastard, where did you hide that woman?" Just now, Sushiro had been lying behind Tang Ao, but now she was gone. Even as a blood kindred, he could not feel Sushiro's aura at this moment, which made him very angry. "It has nothing to do with you. Are you satisfied with this place?" The place where Tang Ao stopped was an abandoned mine. In this place, there were still some scattered fragments of fire crystals. Obviously, a lot of fire crystals had been produced here at some point. The middle-aged blood kindred was stunned at first, but then he immediately understood what Tang Ao meant. At that moment, the middle-aged blood kindred smiled indifferently. "Since you have hidden that woman, I will drink your blood first and then find that woman. Don't worry, I will raise that woman and let her drink a bowl of blood every day, ha. Buzz." Just as he finished speaking, the spirit power in Tang Ao's body shook, and the primordial sacred heavenly bow instantly appeared in Tang Ao's hands. Although the middle-aged blood breed would never be able to find Sushiro, it would not be an exaggeration for him to have such thoughts. Tang Ao had witnessed the viciousness of these blood clan members. Now that he had decided to make a move, Tang Ao naturally wouldn't hold back. When Tang Ao slowly drew the primordial sacred sky bow, the middle-aged blood clan member was a little surprised by the primordial sacred sky bow's aura. However, he laughed mockingly as if he didn't care. These warriors from other martial worlds had ordinary combat power, but they had a lot of good things on them. The golden bow in Tang Ao's hand was at least a 6th-grade immortal weapon in the eyes of the middle-aged blood race. Due to the special rules of heaven and earth in the desolate martial realm, it was difficult to find high-level alchemists and blacksmiths here. Therefore, it was difficult to see high-level elixirs and high-level immortal weapons in the desolate martial realm. Currently, the strongest blacksmith in the desolate martial realm could only refine 4th-grade immortal weapons. However, because the desolate martial realm didn't have any Hun-Tian realm experts, 4th-grade immortal weapons were enough for Yin-Yang realm warriors. Chapter 2449. When he saw Tang Ao escaping just now, the middle-aged blood descendant hesitated. This was because there were more than 20 people at that place and they definitely had a lot of treasures on them. However, he was unwilling to let Tang Ao escape. The Void battleship would only come here once every 10 years. If he could not get enough cultivation resources this time, it would be very difficult for him for the next 10 years. Die for me. The middle-aged vampire's body directly transformed into a blood mist and rushed towards Tang Ao to kill. However, what he did not expect was that the originally fast blood mist technique actually became abnormally slow at this moment. It was as though an invisible force was restraining him. At the same time, an extremely dangerous aura appeared in the middle-aged blood descendant's senses. This feeling only appeared when he was in a life-and-death situation. 1. A special ripple spread out in the air, and a golden profound heaven arrow whistled through the air. Under the mysterious sky arrow's aura, the middle-aged blood descendant couldn't even use the blood mist technique to escape. Bang! With a muffled sound, the middle-aged blood descendant exploded into a blood mist. Tang Ao took a look at the primordial sacred sky bow and kept it. Tang Ao had obtained the primordial sacred sky bow for a long time. However, Tang Ao was too weak previously and hence, Tang Ao could not unleash much of the primordial sacred sky bow's power. Now, as Tang Ao's cultivation continued to increase, the primordial sacred sky bow gradually revealed its sharpness. Other than the primordial sacred sky bow, Tang Ao also had a higher-grade innate artifact, the heaven-raising divine needle. However, even Tang Ao could not unleash 10% of the heaven-raising divine needle's power now. This innate artifact seemed to only be able to unleash its full power at the Tao Master realm or even the legendary God King realm expert. The moment Tang Ao killed the middle-aged blood descendant, black blood seeped out of the purple-boned wolf's forehead. The purple-boned wolf shook off the white-robed lady who was drained of blood and said coldly, "Gu Fang is dead, go after him." Hearing the purple-boned wolf's words, the rest of the blood clan were shocked. All of them had seen Tang Ao's cultivation, which was only at the 3rd level of the astral-reaching realm. However, as a 5th-level astral-reaching realm martial artist, Gu Fang had actually fallen. This was something that was hard for them to accept. Soon, however, 2 of them seemed to have thought of something. Without any explanation, they chased after Tang Ao and Gu Fang. The fact that Tang Ao was able to kill Gu Fang, who was a level 5 astral-reaching realm warrior, with his level 3 astral-reaching realm, was definitely not because of Tang Ao's power, but because Tang Ao had some kind of great treasure on him. The 2 blood-kindred warriors had thought of this, so they chased after him at the same time. However, although the 2 of them were not slow, by the time they arrived at the place where Tang Ao and Gu Fang had fought, there were still some remnants of Gu Fang's aura around them, but it was quickly dissipating. As for Tang Ao's aura, even though the 2 of them had used their blood race's secret arts, they could only catch a faint trace of it. However, with this weak aura, it seemed impossible to find Tang Ao. Even so, the 2 of them still chased after Tang Ao's aura. However, the 2 of them soon returned to this place. The 2 of them looked at each other, but obviously they did not find Tang Ao. Chapter 2450. However, what puzzled Tang Ao was that there were no warriors from the Chamber of Commerce of Immortal Ruins nearby. According to Lu Mushing, as long as Tang Ao came to the desolate martial realm, there would be warriors from the Chamber of Commerce of Immortal Ruins coming to receive him. However, after Tang Ao came to the desolate martial realm, he only saw blood kindred with bad intentions. Tang Ao had not found any warriors from the Chamber of Commerce of Immortal Ruins. With Lu Mushing's status, there was no need to lie to him. Tang Ao guessed that something must have happened to the Chamber of Commerce of Immortal Ruins in the desolate martial realm. Moreover, it was not a small matter. Otherwise, Lu Mushing's orders would not have been delayed. The Chamber of Commerce of Immortal Ruins in the desolate martial realm was located in the Gale Desert. It was originally the most prosperous city in the Gale Desert, but now it was in ruins. Many warriors from the blood kindred were shuttling through the ruins. Among them, many blood spirit hounds with vertical pupils were searching around the ruins. 3 days ago, the blood kindred hidden in the desolate martial realm attacked the Chamber of Commerce of Immortal Ruins while the warriors of the Chamber of Commerce of Immortal Ruins were out. When the warriors of the Chamber of Commerce of Immortal Ruins returned, they ambushed them again. After a great battle, the 3 warriors of the Chamber of Commerce of Immortal Ruins in the desolate martial realm all died in battle. 70% of the warriors of the Chamber of Commerce of Immortal Ruins died in the hands of the Blood Kindred. Everyone knew that there were warriors of the Blood Kindred in the desolate martial realm. Not only did the warriors of the desolate martial realm know about it, but many people from other martial realms had also heard about it. However, no one could have imagined that the Blood Kindred in the desolate martial realm were so strong. The Chamber of Commerce of Immortal Ruins in the desolate martial realm had been attacked by the Blood Kindred. The Chamber of Commerce of Immortal Ruins in the desolate martial realm had about 40% of the cultivation resources in the desolate martial realm. Even in the desolate martial realm, the warriors of the Blood Kindred were still suppressed. However, under such circumstances, the Blood Kindred had developed over the years and had such terrifying strength. At the same time that the Chamber of Commerce of Immortal Ruins failed, Lu Mushing, who was far away in the Langya realm, also received the news. What made Lu Mushing troubled was that Tang Ao was on the Void battleship and he had no way to pass the news to Tang Ao. Although Lu Mushing had already sent experts to the desolate martial realm to support Tang Ao, Lu Mushing was still very worried. In the conference hall on the 7th floor of the Tower of the Immortal Ruin, Shen Yunqing stretched lazily after listening to Lu Mushing's words, and then said lightly, "Although the desolate martial domain branch has only been established for less than 1,000 years, it has been developing very well. In just 1,000 years, he had even controlled about 4 levels of the desolate martial realm's resources. This time, the remnants of the Blood Clan in the desolate martial realm were actually able to destroy the branch of our Immortal Ruins Chamber of Commerce. It can be seen that the Blood Clan has not been idle all these years." Shen Yunqing rubbed his forehead and said, "Our Immortal Ruins Chamber of Commerce has a total of 100 slots for the Heavenly Dao trial. So far, there were 50 people on the Hidden Dragons list and more than 200 on the Heroes list. Since the last president of the Hidden Dragon rank had been preparing for it, a lot of warriors on the Hidden Dragon rank didn't have enough power." Chapter 2451. Compared to the Hidden Dragon list, the Heroes list was much more valuable. This was because the warriors on the Heroes list were selected from various regions. However, there were still more than 200 people on the list. Originally, the Chamber of Immortal Ruins was going to choose 50 of these 200 people to join the Hidden Dragon list and participate in the Heaven Path trial within 1,000 years. But now that Shen Yunqing mentioned this matter again, he must have made new arrangements. Shen Yunqing's beautiful eyes swept across the crowd and immediately said, "I won't talk about the Hidden Dragon list here. In the entire true martial realm, only the Heaven Path Secret Land has the Divine King Dao Fruit. In addition to the Divine King Dao Fruit, there are many rare high-level Dao Fruit. Although our Chamber of Immortal Ruins has the old ancestor of the Celestial Palace, without a true Dao Master, we still have no say in the true martial realm. So this time, I've decided to gather all the warriors on the Hidden Dragon list and the Heroes list to go to the desolate martial realm to exterminate the Blood Clan. The 100 people with the highest contribution points will be the new Hidden Dragon list and will participate in the Heaven Path trial on behalf of our Chamber of Immortal Ruins. There is no need to discuss this matter. Elder Wulian, you will lead the team to the desolate martial realm this time. After 3 months, you just need to bring back those who are still alive. Every single one counts." Tang Ao, who was far away in the desolate martial realm, naturally did not know that because of the changes in the Chamber of Immortal Ruins, the Chamber of Immortal Ruins did not send top warriors to exterminate the Blood Clan. Instead, they used the desolate martial realm as the trial ground for the warriors on the Hidden Dragon list. There were broken walls everywhere in the Gale Desert, showing that there used to be a very glorious martial arts civilization under the desert. No warriors from the Chamber of Immortal Ruins came to receive them, so Tang Ao could only find them himself. Fortunately, Tang Ao had obtained the map of the desolate martial realm from Su Qing on the Void battleship. Therefore, Tang Ao knew that the Chamber of Immortal Ruins was in the center of the Gale Desert. However, Tang Ao was still on the periphery of the Gale Desert. There were many scattered spatial blade flares in the sky. Because of the existence of the spatial blade light, even Tang Ao did not dare to fly at full speed. Tang Ao flew across the Gale Desert for 7 days after shaking off the vampire's pursuit. During these 7 days, Tang Ao encountered 2 merchant caravans. A caravan, like Tang Ao, was preparing to go to the Chamber of Immortal Ruins to trade. Tang Ao learned from the Chamber of Immortal Ruins that it would take him about 5 days to reach the Chamber of Immortal Ruins. The other caravan was the one that Tang Ao had just met. The caravan members were also very nervous when they saw Tang Ao. Although all of them were very tired, the moment they saw Tang Ao, all of them raised their spirits and were on full alert. In the Gale Desert there were only 2 types of people. One was the warriors of the Chamber of Commerce in the Immortal Ruins because of the existence of the chamber. These warriors could travel unimpeded in the Gale Desert. The other type of people were the caravans heading to Gale City to trade with the Chamber of Immortal Ruins. Tang Ao was obviously not a member of the caravan, nor was he wearing the uniform of the Chamber of Immortal Ruins. That meant that Tang Ao was most likely a member of the Blood Clan. The appearance of the Blood Clan was almost the same as that of humans. However, when Blood Clan warriors cultivated, they not only absorbed the immortal spirit energy but also the blood of warriors. This caravan had escaped from Gale City. No one would have thought that the Blood Clan, who had been hiding in the dark, would actually destroy the Chamber of Immortal Ruins in the desolate martial realm. Chapter 2452. Oh, it's President Chun of the Changhe Chamber of Commerce. Tang Ao cupped his fist. When they had met the caravan previously, Tang Ao had asked around. Besides the Scarlet Moon Chamber of Commerce, there was also a Changhe Chamber of Commerce on this road. Tang Ao had not paid much attention to it, but he had not expected to meet it now. Chun Changhe was a little confused when he heard that Tang Ao had recognized him. However, he heaved a sigh of relief at the same time. Chun Changhe had been worried that Tang Ao was a member of the Blood Clan and had wanted to test Tang Ao. My name is Tang Ao. I heard about President Chun from Miss Chi Yu of the Scarlet Moon Chamber of Commerce. President Chun should be coming from the direction of the Immortal Ruins Chamber of Commerce. I don't know why President Chun is in such a sorry state. Although Chun Changhe and the others behaved normally, Tang Ao could see that this group of people were like birds startled by the mere twang of a bowstring. They were very nervous. Moreover, many of them, including Chun Changhe, were injured. You want to go to the Immortal Ruins Chamber of Commerce? Chun Changhe asked solemnly. Chun Changhe was now sure that Tang Ao was not a member of the Blood Clan. Instead, he had an urgent matter and wanted to go to the Immortal Ruins Chamber of Commerce. Otherwise, there would be many powerful demonic beasts along the way from the periphery of the Gale Desert to Gale City, even if there were no bandit. Since Tang Ao had encountered the Scarlet Moon Chamber of Commerce, Tang Ao would have gone with them if there was no urgent matter. A friend of mine is seriously injured. I want to go to the Immortal Ruins Chamber of Commerce to buy an herb. Did something happen there? Ever since Tang Ao had come to the desolate martial realm, he had not met any warriors from the Immortal Ruins Chamber of Commerce. Therefore, Tang Ao guessed that something big must have happened to the Chamber of Commerce. Otherwise, he would not have been unable to find a single warrior from the Chamber of Commerce for so many days. Sigh. The Immortal Ruins Chamber of Commerce in Gale City has been razed to ruins by the Blood Clan. It's useless for you to go now. Tell me, what kind of immortal herb do you want? Let's see if this old man can show you the way. After knowing that Tang Ao was going to the Chamber of Immortal Ruins to ask for herbs, Chen Changhe sighed. The Immortal Ruins Chamber of Commerce has been razed to ruins by the Blood Clan? Although Tang Ao knew that something had happened to the Blood Clan, Tang Ao did not expect the Chamber of Commerce to be destroyed by the Blood Clan. Tang Ao had a certain understanding of the Blood Clan. In any martial world, the Blood Clan was not allowed to exist. Even in the desolate martial domain, the Blood Clan martial artists were also suppressed by the various clans. However, Tang Ao did not expect that the Blood Clan's warriors would still destroy the Immortal Ruins Chamber of Commerce under such circumstances. Did any warriors escape from the Shop of Immortal Ruins? Tang Ao did not say that he needed the longevity vine. Instead, he asked about the situation of the Shop of Immortal Ruins. Tang Ao still had 20 Qingyuan pills, which meant that Su Shiro could last for another 20 days. This, of course, but I don't know where the warriors of the Chamber of Commerce have escaped to. Chen Changhe hesitated for a moment when he heard Tang Ao's question. Looking at Chen Changhe's expression, Tang Ao knew that Chen Changhe knew more than that. However, Chen Changhe had some concerns, so he did not say it. Chapter 2453. The black gold VIP token represented the identity of a customer of the Chamber of Immortal Ruins, but the black gold identity token represented the holder's status in the chamber. In the Chamber of Immortal Ruins, only the 50 martialists on the Hidden Dragon list and the martialists who were elders and above had black gold identity tokens. However, the outside world did not know much about the martialists on the Hidden Dragon list. Therefore, any martialist who had a black gold identity token was usually regarded as an elder of the Chamber of Immortal Ruins. Chen Changhe had been dealing with the Chamber of Immortal Ruins for many years, so he naturally recognized that the black gold identity token in Tang Ao's hand was real. Chen Changhe was delighted. Although he did not know how Tang Ao had obtained the identity token of the Chamber of Immortal Ruins, Tang Ao was indeed a member of the Chamber of Immortal Ruins. So it's Elder Tang Ao. This is what happened. 10 days ago, the Chamber of Immortal Ruins discovered an ancient ruin in the depths of Gale Desert. Therefore, 3 Yin-Yang realm experts of the Chamber of Immortal Ruins led a group of martialists to explore the ruin. However, the Blood Clan suddenly launched a surprise attack on Gale City. When the martialists of the Chamber of Immortal Ruins received the news and returned to provide support, they were ambushed by the Blood Clan. 2 of the elders died on the spot, and the other elder escaped with heavy injuries. As for the martialists of the Chamber of Immortal Ruins, only a small portion of them managed to escape. Chen Changhe waved his hand and a martialist from the Changhe caravan immediately drove a carriage forward. Although there was a second-grade immortal array on the carriage, Tang Ao could still see a seriously injured lady in the carriage. The lady's cultivation was extremely strong. Although she was on the verge of death, the aura that she unconsciously exuded was at the Yin-Yang realm stage 9. Needless to say, Tang Ao knew that the lady in the carriage was the elder who had escaped. Before Chen Changhe could speak, Tang Ao nodded and said, "I got it. Leave the rest to me." Tang Ao had spoken first to avoid trouble. At this moment, Chen Changhe regarded Tang Ao as an elder of the Chamber of Commerce. Therefore, as an elder of the Chamber of Commerce, it was impossible for Tang Ao not to recognize Shen Yunwei. Tang Ao was worried that Chen Changhe would misunderstand if he couldn't answer Chen Changhe's question, so he spoke first. After Tang Ao said so, Chen Changhe not only didn't doubt Tang Ao, but also confirmed Tang Ao's identity. Tang Ao was able to become an elder of the Chamber of Immortal Ruins at such a young age, so there must be something extraordinary about him. In fact, Chen Changhe was also very hesitant when he encountered the seriously injured Shen Yunwei. Now, it was obvious that the Blood Clan was ready to start a war with the Chamber of Commerce of the Ruins of Immortality. If it was in another martial world, The Blood Clan would be a joke in front of the Chamber of Commerce of the ruins of immortality. However, in the desolate martial realm, even the immortal ruins Chamber of Commerce would not be able to do anything to the Blood Clan. Due to the uniqueness of the desolate martial realm, the muddy heaven realm warriors of the Chamber of Commerce of the immortal ruins could not come over at all. After the muddy heaven realm warriors of the Chamber of Commerce of the immortal ruins could not attack, the Blood Clan did not fear the Chamber of Commerce of the immortal ruins at all. This was also why the Blood Clan dared to raise Gale City. Shin Yunwei was the guardian elder of the Chamber of Immortal Ruins in Gale City, and the Changha caravan had received a lot of care from the Chamber of Immortal Ruins over the years. Chapter 2454. Even the Chamber of Commerce of the Immortal Ruins was no match for the Blood Kindred. The people from the Changha Chamber of Commerce were nothing in front of the Blood Kindred. Fortunately, Chen Changha met Tang Ao at this time. Now that Tang Ao had taken care of this matter, Chen Changha was naturally relieved. After asking Chen Changha a few more things, Tang Ao left with Shin Yunwei in another direction. After Tang Ao left, a young man in a blue shirt walked to Chen Changha's side and asked, "Father, is this person really an elder of the Chamber of Commerce of the Immortal Ruins?" The young man in a blue shirt looked in the direction where Tang Ao had disappeared and asked doubtfully, "It can't be fake. The identity token in his hand is only owned by experts of the Chamber of Commerce of the Immortal Ruins. Even if this person is not an elder of the Chamber of Commerce of the Immortal Ruins, he is still someone with a high status. Although he is a little young, he must have some extraordinary means." Chen Changha shook his head and looked at the jade bottle in his hand. This jade bottle was naturally a gift from Tang Ao. Chen Changha did not open the restriction on the jade bottle, so he did not know what elixir was in the jade bottle. "Father, why don't you see what elixir he gave you?" The young man in a blue shirt looked at the jade bottle in Chen Changha's hand and asked curiously. "Humph. These warriors from the other martial realms are all arrogant and think that the desolate martial realm is a barbarian land. How can something that can be taken out so casually be good?" The person who spoke was a girl who looked somewhat similar to the young man in a blue shirt. "Little sister, don't talk nonsense." The young man in a blue shirt was more honest. He felt that since it was a gift from someone else, no matter how valuable it was, he should not comment on it. "Oh, you're right, little girl. However, you have to learn from your brother on this matter. No matter what kind of gift it is, accept the thought, not the gift." Chen Changha looked at the two of them and lectured. "Tsk, it can't be any treasure anyway." The girl heard Chen Changha's words, but she still said it indifferently. How could Chen Changha not understand the girl's intentions? It was obvious that she wanted to see what elixir Tang Ao gave him. Thinking of this, Chen Changha laughed. He removed the restriction on the jade bottle and opened it. There was only one elixir in the jade bottle. After seeing the elixir, Chen Changha's eyes flashed with surprise while the young man in a blue shirt breathed heavily. The girl looked at the elixir and felt that it was somewhat familiar, but she could not remember what it was. As expected of an elder of the Chamber of Commerce of the Celestial Ruins. "He's really generous," Chen Changha exclaimed as he looked at the pills in the jade bottle. "Father, this seems to be a star-breaking pill?" The blue-robed young man could not hide the excitement in his eyes. Due to the scarcity of alchemists in the desolate martial realm, it was extremely difficult to obtain a star-breaking pill. For many years, Changha merchants, the Star Pill, the sect, Chen sect, the Dragon of King Chen Family Chamber, the Chen sect, God Chen Temple, sect, Chen Star Chen, God, Breaking Elixir, 4 Chen Clan, the Family of Chen Clan, Family Chen, Family Clan, Family, Star of Sect, the Chen of Family of. Even so, the number of star-breaking elixirs sold by the chamber was still limited. Chen Changha was already an astral-reaching realm martial artist. Therefore, no matter if the star-breaking elixir was given to the young man in a blue shirt or his sister, one of them could break through to the astral-reaching realm. Chapter 2455. Not only that, if I'm not mistaken, this pill should be a supreme-grade star-breaking pill. Back then, I only saw it once in the immortal ruin chamber of Commerce's auction. Moreover, this pill's grade seems to be much higher than that pill. With this star-breaking pellet, one of you will definitely become an astral-reaching realm martial artist. Father, give this pill to little sister. My cultivation talent is better than hers. In the future, after accumulating to a certain extent, I should be able to break through to the astral-reaching realm without the star-breaking pill. Pay. Who said your cultivation talent is better than mine? You can have this pill. I don't want it. On the other side of Gale Desert, after Tang Ao had driven the carriage for 100 li, Shen Yunwei opened her beautiful eyes. Shen Yunwei knew that she had been saved by Long River Chamber of Commerce. Therefore, with her injuries, she wouldn't be able to hold on until the immortal ruin tower's rescue. However, Shen Yunwei was still very grateful. Therefore, she wanted to leave behind a sound transmission jade slip so that the person in charge of Desolate Martial Realm's immortal ruin chamber of commerce could take care of Long River Chamber of Commerce. However, Shen Yunwei soon discovered that something was amiss. Under her perception, she was unexpectedly running in the direction of Gale City. Although she would undoubtedly die with her injuries, Shen Yunwei didn't wish for her to be sucked dry by the Blood Clan. Shen Yunwei used her remaining soul remembrance to scan the outside of the carriage and saw Tang Ao continuously whipping his horse. Wild Sand Horse was the fastest horse in the desert. At this moment, under Tang Ao's full strength, it was galloping even faster. At this rate, Tang Ao would be able to reach Gale City in less than a day. Stop. Shen Yunwei's weak voice transmitted out. She had never thought that after cultivating to the yin-yang realm, she would still be so weak. In fact, Shen Yunwei could even sense that her life essence was being drained away. It wouldn't be long before she died completely. At this moment, Shen Yunwei thought of her sister, her parents, and her friends in Immortal Ruin Chamber of Commerce. Although she was reluctant to part with them, with her injuries, even if she took out the longevity vine and ate it, it would be of no use. Unless she had a soul-condensing essence molding pill on her, her soul would still collapse. At first, Shen Yunwei thought that Tang Ao would ignore her. Tang Ao was rushing to Rapid Wind City with all his might because he wanted to hand her over to the Blood Clan for a reward. Although Shen Yunwei did not know how she ended up in the hands of the Long River Chamber of Commerce and Tang Ao, she did not blame the Long River Chamber of Commerce. After all, even the Chamber of Commerce in the ruins of immortality had been defeated. Who would dare to compete with the Blood Clan? What Shen Yunwei didn't expect was that as soon as she finished speaking, Tang Ao immediately listened to her. Tang Ao's eyes were bloodshot. Shen Yunwei naturally saw that this was a symptom of overusing her soul remembrance. However, Shen Yunwei was very confused as to why Tang Ao had expended so much soul remembrance. However, very quickly, Shen Yunwei thought of a shocking guess. Tang Ao had been using his soul remembrance to scan the surroundings. After thinking of this reason, Shen Yunwei felt that it made sense. Otherwise, there was no reason that the Blood Clan warriors would not notice her since they were so close to the Blood Clan. However, the reality was that no Blood Clan warriors had found her. This meant that Tang Ao had been using his soul remembrance to scan the surroundings and avoid the pursuit of the Blood Clan warriors. Chapter 2456. Wait a minute, why are you giving me this elixir pill? Although Shen Yunwei knew that after taking this essence-building pill, she would be able to persist for at least 2 months without her spirit soul dissipating, but for no reason or reason, Shen Yunwei still did not want to accept other people's kindness, because Shen Yunwei's father had been burdened by other people's kindness throughout his life, so Shen Yunwei vowed that in this life, she would absolutely not accept other people's kindness. This is my identity token. Of course, I don't know you. Tang Ao knew that he would not be able to explain it clearly to Chen Changhe and the rest. However, Tang Ao did not know if Shen Yunwei also knew about this identity token. You are a martialist on the Hidden Dragon role who will be participating in the Sky Dao trial soon. Why are you here? Shen Yunwei asked in surprise after taking the elixir pill without hesitation after seeing Tang Ao's identity token. If Tang Ao had been a stranger, Shen Yunwei would not have taken the elixir pill so easily. However, since Tang Ao was a martialist on the Hidden Dragon role, his status was equivalent to that of an ordinary elder, and he was a member of the Chamber of Immortal Ruins. If she took Tang Ao's elixir pill now, she would repay Tang Ao if Tang Ao was in trouble in the future. I have a friend who is seriously injured and needs. However, before Tang Ao could finish his sentence, Shen Yunwei immediately thought of something. I remember now. It's you. Elder Willow Tree sent me a message. You need longevity vines. After saying that, Shen Yunwei waved her hand and an emerald green vine appeared before Tang Ao. Tang Ao was elated when he saw this vine. Although it was his first time seeing it, Tang Ao was sure that this was the longevity vine he needed. Thank you. Tang Ao cupped his fists at Shen Yunwei and immediately took out array flags to set up a concealment array around him. Tang Ao was in a hurry to go to Rapid Wind City to get the longevity vine. Soon, a Grade 4 Immortal Array was set up by Tang Ao. After arranging the Spirit Array, Tang Ao divided the Spirit Array into 2 parts. Then, Tang Ao entered the Chaos Hexagram Mirror. Although the Qingyuan pill had been suppressing the toxins, Su Shiro's aura was still very weak. White crane profound needles were a deadly poison that could make even turbid heaven stage experts pale. If it weren't for the Qingyuan pill, Su Shiro would have died long ago. Even with the Qingyuan pill suppressing the poison, Su Shiro was still very weak. His aura was extremely weak, and his face was as pale as paper. Tang Ao did not dare to waste any more time. He immediately took out a cauldron and refined a medicinal ingredient. Tang Ao used his spiritual power to shatter the longevity vine. Then, with the Jade Bone Life Spirit, the longevity vine's medicinal essence slowly entered Su Shiro's body. After the longevity vine's medicinal essence fused into Su Shiro's body, the poison eroding Su Shiro's body became like a pool of blood encountering the blazing sun. It immediately dissipated. Su Shiro's damaged internal organs and meridians were constantly being repaired by the longevity vine's formidable medicinal power. However, Su Shiro had been corroded by the toxins for too long, so she did not wake up immediately. Seeing that the toxins in Su Shiro's body were cleared, Tang Ao breathed a sigh of relief. Although there were some twists and turns, Tang Ao was very satisfied with the final result. On the Void battleship, they encountered the Starry Sea Beast Tide. After arriving at the desolate martial realm, they were chased by the Blood Clan warriors. When they searched for the desolate martial realm's Immortal Ruins Chamber of Commerce, they found out that it had been razed to the ground by the Blood Clan. Thankfully, due to a freak combination of factors, Tang Ao was able to obtain the longevity vine. Now that the toxins in Su Shiro's body were cleared, Tang Ao's tense nerves relaxed. After that, Tang Ao immediately felt a stabbing pain in his sea of consciousness. In order to avoid entangling with the Blood Clan, Tang Ao had been hurrying along with his remembrance. This way, before the Blood Clan warriors discovered Tang Ao could avoid them. Therefore, Tang Ao had not been discovered by the Blood Clan warriors until now. After an incense stick's worth of time, Tang Ao felt that Su Shiro was about to wake up. Therefore, Tang Ao used his spiritual power to carry Su Shiro out. It was not that Tang Ao did not trust Su Shiro, but Tang Ao was afraid that Shen Yunwei would find out that Tang Ao had some kind of spatial treasure that could accommodate warriors. Such a treasure was too precious. Although Shen Yunwei did not seem like someone who would be tempted by wealth, it was better to have less trouble. Tang Ao was right. Not long after Tang Ao carried Su Shiro out, Su Shiro woke up. Seeing that she was in Tang Ao's arms, Su Shiro blushed and struggled to sit up. "Senior brother Tang Ao, thank you for saving me." This kind of stone pillar, if a normal astral-reaching realm warrior did not have a powerful immortal weapon or a powerful secret art, even if he attacked it for a year, it would not change much. But now, this dilapidated stone pillar that had existed for tens of thousands of years was actually crushed by the sandstorm. Yes, I've been avoiding these sandstorms on the way here. Fortunately, there aren't many storms like this one in this desert. Otherwise, even a chaotic heaven stage powerhouse wouldn't have an easy time. While Tang Ao and Su Shiro were talking, Tang Ao sensed that his formation was triggered. Apparently, Shen Yunwei had finished healing. Tang Ao waved his hand, and a formation flag flew back. Then, the formation barrier between Shen Yunwei and Tang Ao disappeared. After seeing Tang Ao's formation technique, Shen Yunwei understood that although Tang Ao's cultivation was not high, Tang Ao's formation attainments were obviously extraordinary. Chapter 2458. Let me introduce myself. My name is Shen Yunwei. I am the branch president of the Chamber of Immortal Ruins in the desolate martial realm. After suppressing the injuries in her body, Shen Yunwei was very grateful to Tang Ao. Seeing Su Shiro next to Tang Ao, Shen Yunwei did not ask much. She just smiled and nodded. "Senior sister Shen, this is my junior sister Su Shiro. She was hit by the White Crane mysterious needle of the White Crane boy in the Immortal Ruins. Thank you for your longevity vine, which saved my junior sister. If there's anything senior sister Shen needs me to do, just let me know." Tang Ao was also very grateful to Shen Yunwei. Tang Ao did not know whether Shen Yunwei carried the longevity vine with her all year round, or whether it was specially brought when the Chamber of Immortal Ruins was attacked. But in any case, it was because of Shen Yunwei's longevity vine that Su Shiro was saved. The White Crane mysterious needle used by Boy White Crane was a secret technique that contained poison. The White Crane mysterious needle could even penetrate the protective divine light of the heavenly Tao talisman. From this, it could be seen how powerful the White Crane mysterious needle was. After Tang Ao's analysis, Tang Ao knew that the main poison on the White Crane mysterious needle was a kind of white chalk powder extracted from the gallbladder of a demon beast. In Tang Ao's understanding, the Qingyuan Dan could only barely suppress this poison. If it was not for Shen Yunwei's longevity vine, Su Shiro most likely would not have survived. You're right to say it like that, because this piece of longevity vine is indeed my personal property. When I gave you the longevity vine, I also had a condition. I don't know if Elder Lu told you. Tang Ao nodded. Tang Ao knew about this. In the Jade Slip agreement signed with Lu Mushing, this matter was mentioned. However, Tang Ao was determined to save Su Shiro, so no matter what conditions Shen Yunwei put forward, Tang Ao would agree. Just when Tang Ao thought that Shen Yunwei was going to put forward some excessive conditions, Shen Yunwei said, "Junior brother Tang Ao, can I use that longevity vine to exchange for the essence-building pill you gave me? If it's not enough, you can add more conditions." Shen Yunwei did not like to take advantage of others, and she was even more unwilling to accept favors from others. Just a moment ago when she was in imminent danger, Tang Ao had taken out an essence-building pill to help her suppress her injuries, although Shen Yunwei did not admit it, but Shen Yunwei was still very clear in her heart that she had received a huge grace from Tang Ao. If someone else had said this, Tang Ao would have thought that they were mocking him. Because the value of the longevity vine, how could a mere essence-building pill compare to it? No matter how rare the essence-building pill was, it was only a Tier 4 immortal pill. However, The longevity vine was a supreme treasure known to be second only to the God King Tao fruit. It was said that the longevity vine hid a trace of the eternal secret. However, Tang Ao had been focused on saving Su Shiro earlier. Naturally, Tang Ao did not want to delve too deeply into this vague legend. Moreover, if there really was an eternal secret within the longevity vine, then Shen Yunwei would have known about it a long time ago since it had been with her for thousands of years. Senior Sister Su, my essence-building pill helped you stabilize your injuries, but your longevity vine also saved my junior sister's life. In this way we are even. If Senior Sister Shen doesn't mind, we can become friends. Feeling Shen Yunwei's sincerity, Tang Ao also spoke with sincerity. Shen Yunwei would never easily accept favors from others. Even if she did accept favors from others, she would immediately repay them. In a sense, Shen Yunwei and Tang Ao were the same kind of people. Chapter 2459. Shen Yunwei, who was standing in front of Tang Ao, was also a femme fatale. Her exquisite face was a bit pale, but her skin was still supple. Her almond-shaped eyes seemed to be flowing with autumn water, and her breath smelled like orchids when she opened her mouth. It made people want to get close to her, but they also gradually felt inferior. Not long ago, Tang Ao had seen the divine race princess on the Void battleship. She exuded a natural noble aura. Shen Yunwei, on the other hand, had a pure and holy aura, like the clouds in the sky or the morning mist in the mountains, ethereal and tranquil. Tang Ao hadn't felt this much pressure even when facing the White Crane child at the 4th level of the Turbid Sky stage. Being stared at by Shen Yunwei, Tang Ao felt like he had returned to the time when he had received Emperor Hades' inheritance. Emperor Hades' shocking aura was even stronger. Just as Tang Ao felt like he couldn't hold on any longer, Shen Yunwei finally looked away. She nodded and said, "All right, I'll call you Junior Brother Tang Ao from now on." She took off a silver bracelet from her wrist and handed it to Tang Ao. This is the Heaven Fate bracelet. After activating it, it can block an attack from a Turbid Sky stage powerhouse. Because I had the Heaven Fate bracelet to protect me, I was caught off guard and was ambushed by Tian Yoguang. I'll give it to you now. Don't make the same mistake in the future. Tang Ao's heart trembled. Tang Ao had made many friends since he started cultivating. But Shen Yunwei was the first person to give such a treasure to Tang Ao as soon as they met. From Shen Yunwei's clear eyes, Tang Ao could see her sincerity. Tang Ao understood. Although Shen Yunwei didn't show it, she clearly thought of him as a little brother. Thinking of this, Tang Ao took out the scarlet gold sword that had been tempered 6 times and reached the peak of the 5th grade immortal artifact. Different from ordinary scarlet gold swords, this one was completely transparent like an ice sword. However, on both sides of the blade, there were 2 vertical stripes, red and blue. The red vertical lines were caused by the constant devouring of fire essence, while the blue vertical lines were caused by the use of the ice purification method. When Tang Ao sensed the faint fluctuation of sword chi from Shen Yunwei's body, Tang Ao knew that his sister also used a sword. Tang Ao had many treasures on him, but the one that suited Shen Yunwei the most was this scarlet gold sword. "Sister, I forged this crimson gold sword myself. Although the scarlet gold sword is only a peak grade 5 immortal artifact, this immortal artifact is somewhat different. As long as it keeps devouring fire essence, it will be able to level up." "Sister." Shen Yunwei was stunned when she heard the title. She didn't pay attention to what Tang Ao said after that. Shen Yunwei was an orphan. The father of Shen Yunqing, the current president of the Chamber of Immortal Ruins, was Shen Yunwei's adoptive father. After Shen Yunqing's father died, Shen Yunwei had no one close to her other than Shen Yunqing. However, because Shen Yunwei's appearance was similar to Shen Yunqing's, anyone with a discerning eye could tell that Shen Yunwei was not as simple as the old president's adopted daughter. In order to avoid arousing suspicion, Shen Yunwei left Langya World and came to the desolate martial world's ruins of immortal ruins. After a slight pause, Shen Yunwei kept the scarlet gold sword that Tang Ao handed over. Chapter 2460. This is not the place to talk. This defense formation can block ordinary blood kindred, but it can't hide from the elders of the blood kindred. Shen Yunwei took out a jade pendant from her storage ring after she finished speaking. Then, Shen Yunwei drew a line in the void and a teleportation formation appeared in front of the three of them. Then, Shen Yunwei wrapped Tang Ao and Su Shiro with her spiritual power. As the teleportation formation flashed, Tang Ao put away the formation flags around him, and the three of them disappeared into the vast desert. When they reappeared, the three of them were in a valley. At this moment, there were many warriors in the valley. Although this ravine was also located in a certain part of the desert, it was clearly protected by a spirit formation. Thus, the ravine was also lush and verdant. In the center of the ravine was a spring that was gurgling out. Tang Ao was able to sense an astonishing amount of immortal spiritual energy ripples from the spring. Tang Ao had medium-grade celestial crystals, but the fluctuation of celestial spiritual power in the spring was even purer than that of medium-grade celestial crystals. When the anxious cultivators in the valley saw Shen Yunwei, they immediately rejoiced. "President, you're finally back?" A warrior with a long spear on his back breathed a sigh of relief. "Sister Shen, you scared me to death. They said you weren't coming back." The one who spoke was a little girl with a tender voice. The little girl was only 7 or 8 years old and looked very cute. Shen Yunwei touched the little girl's head, then said to the warrior who asked the question first, "Yang Zhan, go and gather everyone here. I have something to say." The warrior called Yang Zhan looked at Tang Ao and Su Shiro, but he still obeyed Shen Yunwei's order to gather the remaining warriors of the Chamber of Immortal Ruins. This valley was one of the secret camps of the Chamber of Immortal Ruins in the desolate martial realm. Every member of the Chamber of Immortal Ruins had a teleportation token. In times of life and death, as long as they were within the range of the formation, they could immediately be teleported to this place. Of course, teleporting here was not a problem, but if they wanted to leave, they had to use the teleportation token in Shen Yunwei's hand. Because everyone had come to this valley and left using the teleportation array, no one knew where this valley was except for Shen Yunwei. Yang Zhan was Shen Yunwei's right-hand man. Originally, Yang Zhan was not a warrior of the Chamber of Commerce of the Immortal Ruins. However, because Yang Zhan had offended the Realm Lord of the North Sea Realm in the North Sea Realm, Yang Zhan had no choice but to escape to the desolate martial realm. After arriving at the desolate martial realm, Shen Yunwei took in Yang Zhan, who was seriously injured and on the verge of death. Because of Shen Yunwei's life-saving grace, Yang Zhan worked conscientiously under Shen Yunwei. Yang Zhan's work efficiency was very high. In less than a dozen breaths of time, the originally empty square was immediately filled with hundreds of martial artists. From the hundreds of martial artists here, it could be determined that because of Tian Youguang's betrayal of the Chamber of Commerce in the ruins of immortality, one elder of the Chamber of Commerce in the desolate martial realm had died in this battle, and 90% of the rest of the members had died. Those who followed Tian Youguang to kill our fellow cultivators in the Chamber of Commerce in the immortal ruins, for whatever reason, kill yourselves. I'll allow you to be reincarnated, Shen Yunwei said indifferently as she swept her cold gaze across the crowd. Chapter 2461. Hearing Shen Yunwei's words, many people bitterly smiled. Winner takes all. They had chosen the wrong path back then, so it was reasonable for them to pay the price now. It was just that the price was a bit too heavy. President Shen, Old Lu was confused and followed that bastard Tian Youguang. I'm sorry about this. Senior brothers and junior brothers, I'll be leaving first. A one-eyed martial artist with several scars on his face walked out. After cupping his fists at Shin Yunwei, he raised his hand and smashed his own head. This martial artist had followed Tian Yoguang and killed many Immortal Ruins Chamber of Commerce martial artists. Although he had contributed a lot to the Chamber of Commerce, his mistake this time was unforgivable. Ha ha ha, winner takes all. Since I've lost, I'll take my life. At this moment, a middle-aged man in white robes laughed. He waved the folding fan in his hand and slashed towards his own neck. However, just as his folding fan was about to cut his own neck, the white-robed scholar's figure suddenly flickered and charged towards Tang Ao. In Zhao Wenshan's opinion, since Tang Ao could come with Shin Yunwei to this enchantment camp, the relationship between Tang Ao and Shin Yunwei was naturally not ordinary. Zhao Wenshan was not Shin Yunwei's opponent, but Tang Ao was a mere astral-reaching martial artist. Zhao Wenshan did not put him in his eyes at all. However, before Zhao Wenshan's hand could grab Tang Ao, a dark purple flame curtain suddenly appeared in front of Tang Ao. The moment Zhao Wenshan saw the flame curtain, he realized that it was not good. However, it was clearly too late for him to stop. The moment his hand touched the netherworld flame, its frighteningly high temperature instantly incinerated his hand into nothingness. Moreover, the flame instantly spread along his arm, as if it wanted to burn Zhao Wenshan into ashes. At this moment, Zhao Wenshan was also ruthless. He directly raised his left hand and slashed at his right shoulder, immediately causing his entire right arm to fall off. However, before Zhao Wenshan could do anything else, the pitch-black spear behind him had already pierced through his heart. Zhao Wenshan laughed bitterly, then turned to look at Yang Zhan and said, "I forgot about you." After saying that, Zhao Wenshan's body transformed again. Then, his body exploded in front of everyone's eyes, turning into strands of black qi that burrowed into the ground in all directions. Each wisp of aura contained a trace of a soul origin. Many of the black auras even burrowed into the foreheads of many martial artists. Seeing this, Shin Yunwei's expression changed drastically. Zhao Wenshan was Tian Yoguang's trusted aide. The reason why Zhao Wenshan came to this secret realm this time was to find out where the secret manual was in the desolate martial realm. Originally, Zhao Wenshan had some clues, but he didn't expect that Shin Yunwei would come back at this time. Compared to the incomparably terrified cultivators, Tang Ao quickly formed 9 seals with his hands and threw out 9 formation flags. The moment the formation flags landed on the ground, a formless wave spread out. At this moment, Zhao Wenshan's escaping soul fragments were all sucked back by the formation. At this moment, Zhao Wenshan was finally afraid. Originally, after using this secret technique, Zhao Wenshan was sure that Shin Yunwei wouldn't be able to stop him. However, he never expected that the young man who came back with Shin Yunwei was actually a 4th-grade Immortal Array Master. Chapter 2462. However, his soul had been locked by Tang Ao's soul-locking array. If Shin Yunwei wanted to kill him, he would not be able to escape no matter how capable he was. Zhao Wenshan was definitely a martial artist who was good at scheming. Even if Shin Yunwei wanted to settle the accounts, Zhao Wenshan had already considered it. However, Zhao Wenshan didn't think that even if Shin Yunwei didn't die, she would actually come back with an array Dao powerhouse like Tang Ao. There's no need. Search his soul. Without waiting for Shin Yunwei to speak, Tang Ao took a step forward and placed his palm on Zhao Wenshan's soul. A shivering scream was heard as Zhao Wenshan's soul was split into 10,000 pieces. At this moment, the pain Zhao Wenshan suffered when Tang Ao searched his soul was also 10,000 times worse. However, no one sympathized with Zhao Wenshan. If Tang Ao had not been here today, many people would have died because of Zhao Wenshan. During the previous rebellion, many martial artists in the Chamber of Immortal Ruins had their souls devoured by Zhao Wenshan. Zhao Wenshan's fate could be described as heaven's retribution. After the time it took for an incense stick to burn, Tang Ao removed his hand from Zhao Wenshan's soul. At this moment, Zhao Wenshan's soul was full of cracks. Even so, Zhao Wenshan had not died. Apart from himself, this was the first time Tang Ao had seen a martial artist with such a strong soul. However, Zhao Wenshan's memory had already disappeared. Tang Ao had originally used the soul-searching secret technique to erase Zhao Wenshan's soul. However, Tang Ao had not expected that Zhao Wenshan's soul would not completely collapse under his soul-searching secret technique. After Tang Ao removed the soul-searching palm print, Zhao Wenshan's soul actually began to absorb the surrounding dissipating soul sources and slowly recovered. However, because the consciousness of this soul had been completely erased by Tang Ao, even if this soul recovered, it would be an ownerless soul. Such a powerful ownerless soul was the most suitable to be used as an artifact spirit. However, Zhao Wenshan had done many evil things. Now that Tang Ao had kept Zhao Wenshan's soul, the people in the Chamber of Immortal Ruins would definitely not agree. Since that's the case, I'll tell your fortune as well. Junior brother Tang Ao, you're an expert in artifact forging, so why don't you keep this ownerless soul? After Shen Yunwei spoke, even though everyone was unhappy, they didn't say anything. Moreover, Shen Yunwei was right. Zhao Wenshan's consciousness had been completely erased by Tang Ao. Although this soul belonged to Zhao Wenshan, there was no trace of him left. After Shen Yunwei spoke, Tang Ao naturally didn't say anything else. With a thought, he planted a psyche mark on Zhao Wenshan's soul. Zhao Wenshan's soul was directly sucked into the underworld life soul by Tang Ao. Such a soul could only grow stronger in the netherworld. Moreover, just in case, Tang Ao had branded his soul remembrance imprint. With a thought from Tang Ao, this soul could collapse again. After learning from the mistakes of attendant Lu and Zhao Wenshan, the remaining martial artists who had participated in the rebellion became much more straightforward and killed themselves. This scene seemed heartless, but this was the best way to explain to the people of the Chamber of Immortal Ruins who had died and the surviving martial artists. Chapter 2463. After all the warriors who had participated in the judgment had committed suicide, Shen Yunwei told everyone in detail about the discovery of the ruins and Tian Youguang's sneak attack. Just as Shen Yunwei was about to ask everyone to compile a list of the warriors who had participated in the rebellion, Shen Yunwei's identity token suddenly vibrated. At the same time, Tang Ao's identity token vibrated as well. On a floating boulder outside the desolate martial realm, a roar resounded through the sky. It was a giant tiger that was tens of thousands of feet tall, formed by countless thunderbolts. As the tiger slammed its claws down, a giant teleportation portal that was tens of thousands of feet wide suddenly appeared below it. The teleportation portal's formation pattern also changed with countless thunderbolts. On the teleportation portal, illusory figures gradually solidified. The overall cultivation of these figures was not very high. The strongest one was only at the third stage of the Yin-Yang realm. The third stage of the Yin-Yang realm was the entry limit to the Heaven Path secret realm. Those who surpassed the third stage of the Yin-Yang realm would not be able to enter the Heaven Path secret realm. Although their cultivation was not high, the aura of each of these people was extremely domineering. Many of them even had a strong blood aura. It was obvious that they had been killing for years. This boulder was not far from the desolate martial realm. Coupled with the giant thunder tiger, it was impossible not to attract the attention of the warriors in the desolate martial realm. At that moment, countless warriors in the desolate martial realm saw this scene. After seeing the densely packed figures on the teleportation portal, the warriors of the desolate martial realm sucked in a breath of cold air. Those wearing the Black Frost armor are the experts of the Chamber of Immortal Ruins heroes list. It is said that Savage Killer Shao, who made a name for himself in the desolate martial realm 100 years ago, barely made it into the Chamber of Immortal Ruins heroes list. Those wearing the black gold armor are the experts of the Hidden Dragon list. It is said that the experts of the Hidden Dragon list are far stronger than the experts of the heroes list. Looking at this number, the warriors of the Chamber of Immortal Ruins Hidden Dragon list and the heroes list should all be here. Those warriors in the Shura blood-patterned robes, could they be the Blood Clan is finished? They actually sent 10 Shura elders. Ever since the Chamber of Commerce of the Ruins of Immortality was established, there have been instances of branches being destroyed. However, the matter was resolved with the dispatch of 1 or 2 Azura elders. I didn't expect the Chamber of Commerce of the Ruins of Immortality to send 10 Azura elders this time. Although the Blood Clan has been developing in the dark all these years, they still offended someone they shouldn't have. In the barrier camp of the desolate martial realm's Immortal Ruins Chamber of Commerce, Tang Ao and Shin Yunwei received different news. When Tang Ao received the news, all the martial artists on the Hidden Dragon list had to go to the desolate martial realm within 100 days to kill the Blood Clan. Killing different cultivations and numbers of Blood Clan members would give them corresponding points. The 100 people with the highest points would officially represent the Chamber of Commerce in the Ruins of Immortality to participate in the Heavenly Tao trial in 1,000 years. After that, there was a detailed introduction about the Way of Heaven trial. For the warriors of the Black-Yellow continent, a divine king expert was just a legendary existence. However, for the warriors of the True Force realm, a divine king expert was a goal that they could pursue. This was because in the Heavenly Law Trial's Heavenly Law Secret Realm, there was a godly monarch Tao Fruit. As long as he obtained the Divine King Tao Fruit, he would have the possibility of becoming a Divine King in the future. At this moment, Tang Ao was overwhelmed with emotions. A Divine King expert was an existence that stood at the top of the world. Although Tang Ao had a lot of tricks up his sleeve, Tang Ao didn't think that he would be able to enter the top 100 this time. This was because Tang Ao's competitors were also the best of the best from different planes and martial worlds. On Tang Ao's identity token, there was the simple information of the other 249 people, as well as Tang Ao's own information. The first thing Tang Ao saw was his own information. Tang Ao, lower plane martial artist, 3rd level astral reaching realm, found in the northern ruins of immortality of Langya realm. Grade 3 King Grade Immortal Alchemist, Grade 3 King Grade Artificer. Survived 10 breaths of White Crane Boy's attack. Battle rating, High Mystic rank. The other information was clear at a glance, but this battle rating made Tang Ao a bit confused. Because right now, even Tang Ao didn't know what the limit of his battle power was. Previously, when facing White Crane Boy, because of the huge difference in strength, it was like an ant facing an elephant. No matter how many tricks Tang Ao had, he couldn't shake White Crane Boy. But if they were both ants fighting, it would be hard to say who was stronger and who was weaker. After reading his information, Tang Ao's eyes flickered as he saw a name. Mad Killer Shao, Blood Battle Realm Martial Artist. Because he accidentally killed a Blood Battle Realm emissary, he was tied up in the soul pool and refined his soul for 1,000 years. Later, he escaped from the Blood Battle Realm, created a huge disaster in the desolate martial realm, and then joined the Immortal Ruins Chamber of Commerce. 5th level Astral Reaching Realm, Battle Rating, Low Earth Rank. After reading this martial artist's information, Tang Ao couldn't help but sigh inwardly. These martial artists who could be recruited by the Immortal Ruins Chamber of Commerce were indeed not simple. For a normal astral reaching realm martial artist, not to mention refining his soul for 1,000 years, even refining his soul for a year would cause his soul to dissipate. However, this mad killer Shao had refined his soul for 1,000 years in the soul pool and was still fine. Chapter 2464. Tang Ao looked at the information of the martial artist, who was also at the third level of astral reaching realm like him. Huang Qir, a genius disciple of Wendao College, expert in controlling demonic beasts. Among her natal demonic beasts, one has reached the peak of 9th level of astral reaching realm. Once fought a yin-yang realm expert to a draw. Battle power rating: low heaven realm. Seeing this information, Tang Ao's expression remained the same. However, when he saw that Huang Qir's image was that of an 11 or 12-year-old girl, Tang Ao felt that something was wrong with this world. These geniuses were truly monstrous beyond Tang Ao's imagination. Tang Ao really wanted to see what kind of fierce person was rated as a high heaven realm battle power. However, at this moment, Tang Ao's identity token transmitted a teleportation fluctuation. Tang Ao understood that it was urging him to gather. Smiling helplessly, Tang Ao handed a storage ring to Su Shiro. "Junior sister Su, I have to leave for a while. You can cultivate here during this time. And be careful." Su Shiro nodded quietly. Although Su Shiro wanted to go with Tang Ao, she knew that even with the Heavenly Tao Talisman, she would only be dragging Tang Ao down. If she wanted to help Tang Ao, she would have to refine the first 3 layers of the talisman. However, up until now, Su Shiro had only refined the first layer. Clearly, there was still a long time before she could refine the 3rd layer. "Sister Shiro, don't worry. Junior brother Tang Ao's attainments in arrays are not bad. Moreover, there are 10 Azura elders overseeing this operation. He will be fine." Shin Yunwei patted Su Shiro's shoulder and said softly. Her expression was like an elder sister talking to her younger sister-in-law, which made Su Shiro's expression a bit strange. As the teleportation array flickered, Tang Ao appeared on the void boulder outside the desolate martial realm. As soon as Tang Ao appeared, he saw the majestic 10,000-meter-tall Thunder Tiger. Following the path of the Thunder Tiger, Tang Ao saw the gigantic teleportation formation on the ground. The grade of the array was shockingly high. It was a peak grade 8 immortal array. Ever since Tang Ao started cultivating, this was the first time he had seen such a high-level formation. Only this kind of high-level formation could realize teleportation between the martial world. However, activating such a formation once would consume a terrifying amount of energy. Conservatively speaking, the cost of activating the formation this time was far more than 1,000 times that of the void battleship traveling between the Langya realm and the desolate martial realm. There were actually quite a few forces that possessed such a formation. However, there were only a few forces that could utilize it at any time. This time, the Blood Clan had touched the reverse scale of the Chamber of Commerce in the Ruins of Immortality, the Dragon's reverse scale. Anyone who touched it would die. When Tang Ao appeared on the array formation, a set of black gold armor slowly appeared and quickly armed Tang Ao. Looking at his outfit, Tang Ao was very satisfied. This black gold battle armor was a grade 5 immortal artifact that had been forged thrice. The fact that the Chamber of Commerce in the Ruins of Immortality could produce 50 sets of such battle armor showed how terrifying the chamber's foundation was. Just as Tang Ao was lamenting, a thunderous voice exploded above everyone's heads. "I am Wu Lian, and I will be in charge of judging the results of your trial this time. President Shen Yunqing requests that when you leave the desolate martial realm, each of you must have at least 100 points on your token. However, what I want to say is that when you leave the desolate martial realm, if you don't have 1,000 points on your token, you will have to stay in the desolate martial realm to train. Without further ado, you may leave now. The trial begins." Chapter 2465. As for the fact that Tang Ao had arrived earlier, he had a certain advantage. However, Tang Ao's advantage was not worth mentioning at all, because among the 250 warriors, about 20 of them were from the desolate martial realm. Compared to Tang Ao, these warriors were the ones who were really familiar with the place. As soon as Wu Lian's voice landed, a horrifying aura exploded from the Yin-Yang realm warriors, and they flew directly into the depths of the desolate martial realm. Their target was not the small fries of the blood race, but the Yin-Yang realm warriors of the blood race. The desolate martial realm was the base camp of the blood race. Although many forces knew that the blood race had taken root in the desolate martial realm, none of them stood out to attack the blood race. If it were not for the fact that the blood race had taken the initiative to attack the immortal ruined Chamber of Commerce, the Chamber of Commerce would not have taken such a drastic measure. Although the aura of the warriors at the top of the hidden dragon rank was shocking, compared to the middle-aged warrior wearing a blood-patterned Azura robe, their aura was nothing. This time, 10 Azura elders had been sent out for only one purpose, which was to uproot the blood race that had existed for 10,000 years. Some of the warriors on the hidden dragon rank and the hero rank were independent, while others were in groups of 3 to 5. After all, most of the blood race warriors here were at the late astral reaching realm or the late Yin-Yang realm. They did not have to worry about the Yin-Yang realm warriors, but when facing the late astral reaching realm warriors of the blood race, if they were not particularly good at fighting, it would be very dangerous. This trial did not stipulate that warriors could not form teams. After all, the purpose of the trial was not only to pick out 100 warriors from the 250 geniuses, but it also had another very important purpose, which was to train these warriors together. After all, everyone would be participating in the Heavenly Tao trials together in the future. Before the Heavenly Tao trials, it would only be good for them to train together. Brother Tang Ao, can I team up with you? Just as Tang Ao was considering whether or not to chase after that arrogant purple bone wolf, a soft and sweet voice was suddenly heard from behind Tang Ao. Tang Ao turned around and saw Huang Qir in a golden princess dress. Tang Ao remembered that Huang Qir was able to control a horrifying beast that was as powerful as a peak level 9 astral reaching realm warrior. Her battling power was also at the low rank of Heaven Realm. Therefore, Huang Qir taking the initiative to ask Tang Ao to join her team was something that Tang Ao did not expect. However, Tang Ao still nodded. Although Tang Ao wasn't afraid of Tang Ao going through the trial alone, the effect of this trial wouldn't be as good as 2 people. Because the desolate martial realm was too big, no one knew where the Blood Clan would appear. Tang Ao found out the location of 3 Blood Clans encampments through soul searching. However, those 3 encampments were guarded by experts at the peak of Yin-Yang Realm level 9. If Tang Ao wasn't tired of living, he wouldn't go there. 250 people was not a small number, but once they were scattered in the desolate martial realm, it would become a drop in the ocean. Huang Qir summoned a fire sky horse, which was proficient in the wind and fire element immortal spirit power. As it ran in the air, a gust of wind and fire danced, looking extremely dazzling. Seeing that Huang Qir had such a cool pet, Tang Ao immediately thought of Xiao Yan and Schwer in his storage ring. Chapter 2466. After flying for some distance, Huang Qir suddenly descended from the sky and came to Tang Ao's side. Then, Huang Qir tiptoed and whispered into Tang Ao's ear, "Senior brother Tang Ao, Little Turtle said that we are surrounded by the Blood Clan." When Huang Qir said this, Tang Ao could feel that Huang Qir was a little excited and a little nervous. Although her martial Dao talent was not bad, Huang Qir had not experienced many real battles like this. Tang Ao also looked at the little turtle in Huang Qir's mouth. This little turtle was indeed small, only the size of half of Tang Ao's palm. However, the little turtle's head was a dragon's head. This was a dragon turtle with a dragon's head and a turtle's body. It was rumored that dragon turtles had a lifespan of millions of years. This dragon turtle was really a little turtle. Moreover, this dragon turtle's remembrance was even stronger than Tang Ao's. This was because Tang Ao only discovered that he and Huang Qir were being treasured by the Blood Clan martial artists. This dragon turtle had already discovered it a few dozen breaths ago. From this, it could be seen that this dragon turtle's remembrance was 10 times stronger than Tang Ao's. Tang Ao's remembrance was already strong to an unimaginable level, but this dragon turtle's remembrance was 10 times stronger than Tang Ao's. Tang Ao did not doubt that if this dragon turtle grew to its peak, its remembrance could cover all 36 realms of the true martial domain. Ice Bird, come out quickly. At this moment, Tang Ao saw Huang Qir's hands forming a complicated seal and then clapped them in front of her. After the light of the array flashed, Tang Ao immediately shivered. The temperature of the surrounding space also dropped to the freezing point in an instant. Tang Ao also clearly saw what the ice bird in Huang Qir's mouth was. Ice Crystal Phoenix. Tang Ao was somewhat speechless. Huang Qir's mount, the Flaming Pegasus, was an ancient remnant, and the dragon turtle she used to scout for information was a legendary mythological beast. Although the ice phoenix she had summoned was a cub, it was also a mythological beast. According to Huang Qir's information, she could also summon a powerful beast that was as powerful as a peak-level astral-reaching realm warrior. Right now, Tang Ao was really curious about what this powerful beast was. Everyone attack. This young lady is Dao Seeking Academy's Huang Qir. The clan head has ordered us to capture her alive. As for this brat, just kill him. After Huang Qir summoned the ice phoenix, the surrounding vampires immediately turned into clouds of blood mist and whizzed toward Tang Ao and Huang Qir. Tang Ao sneered in his heart. The green lotus sword soul suddenly bloomed behind him, and he was about to attack. However, before Tang Ao could appear, a golden thunderhound covered in golden lightning suddenly appeared. After the golden thunder hound roared, a golden thunder enchantment suddenly appeared. After these vampires crashed into the thunder shield, they immediately let out blood-curdling screeches. Without waiting for them to continue, the ice phoenix let out a light cry, and its 2 wings suddenly shook. Under the shake of the ice phoenix's wings, an ice storm immediately appeared in the space. All the vampires below the 4th level of astral-reaching realm were all frozen into ice sculptures. There were also a lot of vampires who were frozen into a cloud of blood mist. As the ice phoenix let out another light cry, the ice immediately shattered. At this moment, a third of the vampires who were frozen were instantly killed. Chapter 2467. Pooh! Pooh! Right at that moment, the gold thunderhound suddenly shot out a golden thunderball from its mouth. The 3/4 level astral-reaching realm warriors in front of the thunderball were all pierced through. However, as the blood mist moved, the pierced parts slowly recovered. Blood race warriors below astral-reaching realm level 3 were the lowest rank of the blood race. Most of them were mixed bloods, which resulted in an impure bloodline. Therefore, many of the secret arts of the blood race could not be performed. However, the astral-reaching realm level 4 to level 6 blood race warriors were much more powerful. A lot of these blood race warriors had been frozen by the ice phoenix, but after the ice had been shattered, the blood mist that they had turned into had merged together again. As Tang Ao was waiting for Huang Qir to summon a few more powerful beasts to deal with the current situation, Tang Ao suddenly realized that Huang Qir was looking at him with her big watery eyes. "Brother Tang Ao, it's your turn." "My turn?" Tang Ao pointed at his own nose and asked. It was not because Tang Ao was afraid of these blood race warriors, but because Tang Ao had not recovered from the powerful beasts that Huang Qir had summoned. "All right then." Tang Ao did not hesitate either. His body shone with a golden light, and one after another, golden symbols jumped out. It was indeed Tang Ao's Battle Saint Bone Spirit. However, this time, Tang Ao did not let the Battle Saint Bone Spirit attach to his body. Instead, he let the golden symbols continuously merge with his body. After a while, the golden symbols completely merged with Tang Ao's body. Right then, Tang Ao's body shone with a golden light, looking like the incarnation of King Kong. This was a secret art of the Battle Saint Bone Spirit. After Tang Ao had trained his body to Yuan body, Tang Ao had finally discovered it after constant practice. However, this was the first time Tang Ao had performed the King Kong body spirit. After performing the King Kong body spirit, Tang Ao did not even summon his Green Lotus Sword spirit. Instead, he directly charged into the Blood Race warriors. Although Tang Ao looked a little strange at the moment, a cruel smile still flashed in the eyes of the Blood Clan warrior. As the blood surged, a blood spear instantly flew out. Without any delay, the blood spear blasted towards Tang Ao's heart with a violent force. When he saw this blood spear, Tang Ao wanted to smash it with a punch. However, Tang Ao realized that he couldn't sense any danger from the blood spear. Under the horrified gazes of the Blood Tribe members, the blood spear collided with Tang Ao's body. However, the scene they had imagined did not appear. Instead, the blood spear shattered upon colliding with Tang Ao's body. As for Tang Ao's body, there was only a faint flicker of light where the blood spear struck him. He took the blood spear head-on and was completely unharmed. This made the eyes of the surrounding Blood Clan members turn serious. A Blood Clan warrior said with uncertainty, "Is this guy an ancient dragon summoned by Huang Qir? Is that why he looks like this?" "That's right. Look at the golden light on his body. Maybe he is an ancient dragon from the Golden Dragon clan. Yes. Only the ancient dragon's tyrannical physique can take the blood spear of our Blood Clan head-on. All of you, get lost. I will deal with him." At this time, a voice that Tang Ao was somewhat familiar with was heard. The Blood Clan warrior who had rushed over was the Purple Bone Wolf. Chapter 2468. Die. The purple-boned wolf suddenly clawed out and a purple-black bone blade extended from its palm. Clang! The sound of metal clashing resounded. The purple-boned wolf's bone blade clashed with Tang Ao's primordial sacred heavenly bow, but it did not suffer any damage. While Tang Ao was secretly surprised, the purple-boned wolf's heart was in a perilous state. One must know that the purple-black bone did not belong to the purple-boned wolf, but the blood demon's bone that resided in its body. The longbow in Tang Ao's hand was unknown, but it was unexpectedly unharmed after clashing with the blood demon's bone. The reason why the purple-boned wolf used the blood demon's bone was to deal with Tang Ao's King Kong incarnation. However, Tang Ao did not dare to be careless in the face of the blood demon's bone. Therefore, for a while, the two of them were actually entangled in a fight. If it was just a one-on-one fight between Tang Ao and the purple-boned wolf, Tang Ao naturally would not be afraid of the purple-boned wolf. However, it was obviously not the time for Tang Ao and the purple-boned wolf to fight one-on-one. This was because the remaining blood-kindred martial artists were currently staring at Huang Qir. Although there were martial artists from the Hidden Dragon list and the Hero list passing by from time to time, everyone pretended not to see them. This was because among the 250 people, only the top 100 would advance. If one martial artist died, their chances of advancing would increase by a lot. Therefore, these martial artists were very happy to see such a scene. Bone Domain Enchantment. Seeing that its own people were suppressing Huang Qir and were about to take her down, the purple-boned wolf was overjoyed. With a loud roar, the purple-boned wolf's rib suddenly flew out. This rib was also the blood demon's bone that resided in the purple-boned wolf's body. After the blood demon's bone appeared, it immediately turned into a prison and trapped Tang Ao. Bone Cone. Seeing that the Bone Domain enchantment had trapped Tang Ao, the purple-boned wolf was overjoyed. Immediately, the purple-boned wolf roared and immediately, a row of sharp bone spikes shot out from its back. These bone spikes were like spears that wanted to nail Tang Ao to death on the spot. However, at this moment, a silver halo suddenly erupted from Tang Ao's body. This halo had countless mysterious runes circulating around it. After the purple bone wolf's bone alls bombarded the light barrier emitted by the Heaven's Fate halo, these bone alls were all bounced off by the Heaven's Fate halo. At that moment, Tang Ao's hands formed a series of complicated hand seals. At the same time, Tang Ao's body exuded a powerful aura. Around Tang Ao, a series of handprints that were meant to nourish his body appeared. In the blink of an eye, there were hundreds of them, and when he looked again, there were thousands of them. If it was only one hand seal, the purple bone wolf would not be afraid at all. However, after dozens of hand seals, it attracted the purple bone wolf's attention. After hundreds of hand seals, even the purple bone wolf had to be cautious. Now that the hand seals appeared in front of it, the purple bone wolf did not dare to be careless. With a thought, the blood demon's bone that was trapping Tang Ao flew back into its body. Immediately, a crack appeared between the purple bone wolf's eyebrows and a purplish-black bloody hand seal flew out. At this moment, Tang Ao's body instantly surged with celestial spiritual energy. The thousands of hand seals immediately exploded with bright white light. Thousand hand seal! Blood demon's hand. Chapter 2469. Boom! A dazzling white palm print clashed with a huge blood hand. At the moment of impact, a terrifying spiritual power exploded. A blood-kindred martial artist who did not retreat in time was turned into a blood mist. However, this time it was not a blood mist technique. It was the destruction of one's soul. Even though Tang Ao's Yuan body was comparable to a yin-yang realm expert, and after merging with the Jade Bone Life Soul, his body's strength had soared once again. However, at this moment, Tang Ao could not help but spit out a mouthful of blood. Tang Ao used his soul psyche to scan his body and found streams of purplish-black blood flowing around in his body. In the battle just now, Tang Ao was not at a disadvantage in a head-on confrontation. The reason why he was injured was because he did not know how strange the blood demon's hand was. Seeing Tang Ao spit out a mouthful of blood, the purple bone wolf smiled proudly. The blood demon's hand's attack was not very strong, but it was very strange. It could follow the flow of a martial artist's spiritual power, flow back into the martial artist's body, and corrode the martial artist's organs. After being corroded by the blood demon's blood, unless one was from the blood kindred or a martial artist who cultivated a blood-type cultivation technique, one would basically be a dead person. Feeling the raging blood demon's blood in his body, Tang Ao was about to control the netherworld fire to burn the blood demon's blood into nothingness when Tang Ao's 9 Dragons Emperor Jade body suddenly let out a thunderous roar. This roar could not be heard by ordinary people, but Tang Ao was shaken by it. However, Tang Ao was pleasantly surprised to see that the raging blood demon's blood in his body had actually transformed into a blood demon's shadow. Above the blood demon's shadow was a ball of light with 9 dragons revolving around it. At this moment, a bolt of lightning struck down. The blood demon's blood immediately let out a mournful cry before disappearing into thin air. The purple bone wolf looked at Tang Ao mockingly. After being corroded by the blood demon's blood, Tang Ao would not need to do anything. Very soon, his body would explode and he would die because he could not withstand the berserk blood of the blood demon. However, what the purple bone wolf found strange was that a handprint had appeared around Tang Ao. But this time, the purple-boned wolf did not care at all. Tang Ao was not a blood kindred, so he could not suppress the blood of the blood devil. In the blink of an eye, there were hundreds of handprints around Tang Ao. That's not right. How can he endure the corrosion of the blood demon's blood for so long? Could he really be from the primordial dragon clan? But the ancient dragon clan doesn't even exist in the true dragon world anymore. How could they appear here? While the purple bone wolf was deep in thought, thousands of thousand-hand imprints had already appeared around Tang Ao. But this time, it was not the end. The bolts of lightning quickly fused with the thousand hands imprint. In the blink of an eye, the thousand hand seal, which was originally shining with white light, was now covered in countless arcs of lightning. "You sure are explosive!" The purple bone wolf could not help but roar. The blood devil's blood was a technique that the purple bone wolf had used many times. The purple bone wolf could not understand why the blood devil's blood was useless against Tang Ao. "I'll grant you your wish." After the purple bone wolf roared, Tang Ao's voice resounded. Soon after, under the purple bone wolf's horrified gaze, thousands of thousand-hand imprints that were flickering with lightning instantly fused into one. The speed was so fast that it left people speechless. Chapter 2470. If this attack landed, even with the protection of the blood demon's bone, the purple bone wolf would definitely die. However, when Tang Ao's Thunder Thousand Hand print was about to land on the purple bone wolf, a huge bloody mouth suddenly appeared on the purple bone wolf's heart. Tang Ao's Thunder Thousand Hand print was directly swallowed by this bloody mouth. After escaping death, the purple bone wolf looked at Tang Ao with lingering fear. It was not that he was not a match for Tang Ao, but that Tang Ao did not know enough about him, and he also did not know enough about Tang Ao. Seeing that he could not kill the purple bone wolf even with such a good opportunity, Tang Ao was furious. After using the secret technique just now, the purple bone wolf was clearly extremely weak. This was the best time to kill the purple bone wolf. After all, on the bounty list, the purple bone wolf's head was worth 5,000 points. One purple bone wolf was worth 5 Yin-Yang realm warriors. Tang Ao, the journey is long, see you next time. The purple bone wolf did not dare to stay any longer. He performed a hand sign and his body immediately became blurry. "Humph! Leave something behind before you leave." When Tang Ao's voice fell, the 3 profound sky arrows whistled out and instantly struck the purple-boned wolf, which had yet to completely dissipate. The purple bone wolf also spat out a mouthful of blood and looked at Tang Ao angrily. Looking at the place where the purple bone wolf had disappeared, Tang Ao sighed helplessly. This time, Tang Ao had used at least 80% of his power. Besides the sky-raising godly needle, Tang Ao had used all his trump cards, but he still could not stop the purple bone wolf. At the same time, if Tang Ao wanted to leave, the purple bone wolf would not be able to stop Tang Ao. After beating the purple bone wolf back, Tang Ao had used 90% of his celestial spiritual power and soul remembrance. Although the purple bone wolf was an astral-reaching realm level 6 warrior, after using the blood demon's bone and performing all kinds of secret skills, it was not much better than Tang Ao. Seeing how weak Tang Ao was, a Blood Clan warrior charged at Tang Ao. However, Tang Ao didn't even spare him a glance. The instant the Blood Tribe warrior approached, Tang Ao pointed his finger. Tang Ao's fingers were flowing with black light. This finger was Tang Ao's life extermination finger. After mastering the finger of extinction, this was the first time Tang Ao had used it in a real battle. After Tang Ao pointed with his finger, the Blood Tribe warrior laughed mockingly, and his body immediately turned into a mist of blood. In this state, ordinary spells would not be able to harm a Blood Tribe warrior. However, the Blood Tribe martial artist's expression quickly changed. Because at this moment, he suddenly discovered that the surrounding space seemed to have been bound. After he used the Blood Mist spell, the Blood Mist could no longer transform freely. Instead, it was fixed. Then, under the horrified gaze of the Blood Tribe warrior, Tang Ao's life extermination finger bombarded the Blood Mist. A crisp cracking sound was heard, and the Blood Mist of the Blood Tribe warrior shattered with a loud bang. This Blood Tribe warrior didn't have the chance to recondense again. Under the life extermination finger, his soul was completely destroyed. Dark Soul Demon Scythe. Right at this moment, Huang Qir, who seemed to have rested enough, shot out another spell. This time, Huang Qir didn't summon any powerful demonic beast. Instead, she summoned a huge scythe condensed from a mass of black mist. Under the control of Huang Qir's soul remembrance, this scythe swept out in a circle, and the souls of these blood tribe warriors were uncontrollably hooked by the scythe. Then, the dark soul demon scythe flashed a sharp silver light in the air. Under this silver light, the souls of the blood tribe warriors that had been hooked out were immediately shattered. When Tang Ao saw this scene, he was amazed. This huge scythe gave Tang Ao a very familiar feeling. On this huge scythe, Tang Ao felt the fluctuations of the netherworld's aura. Tang Ao originally thought that only he, who had awakened the netherworld life soul, could summon the existence of the netherworld. However, Huang Qir's spatial spell could clearly communicate with some objects or living beings in the netherworld. However, until now, Tang Ao hadn't seen Huang Qir find the monsters in the netherworld. Before Tang Ao could praise Huang Qir's dark soul demon scythe, Huang Qir immediately sat on the ground. "Senior brother Tang Ao, my soul power has been exhausted. I'm counting on you now." After Huang Qir finished speaking, the golden thunderhound immediately turned into a golden light and disappeared. Then, the dark soul demon scythe also hid in the void. The ice phoenix and the dragon turtle also disappeared. Only the flaming Pegasus remained. The flaming Pegasus seemed to be very intelligent. After looking at Tang Ao and Huang Qir, it flapped its wings and brought Tang Ao and Huang Qir onto its back. The flaming Pegasus naturally had wind and fire attributes and spatial attributes, so it didn't have many restrictions on flying in the Gale Desert. As the flaming Pegasus galloped across the Gale Desert, the group of blood tribe members couldn't catch up even if they used the blood mist technique. They could only watch as Tang Ao and Huang Qir swaggered off. "Senior brother Tang Ao, our team is just too suitable. I've never worked so well with anyone before." Huang Qir sat on the flaming Pegasus's back and waved her small fists happily. When Tang Ao heard Huang Qir's words, he smiled bitterly. Tang Ao thought to himself, this time, the two of them didn't work together at all. The only time they worked together was when the flaming Pegasus escaped. Otherwise, it would be difficult for Tang Ao to escape with the wind thunder dark cloud due to his lack of spiritual power. You're tuning in to the Phoenix Knights YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.